What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is DH Thorne here, coming at you live with Flesh Priest, T. Camilla Thorne, and myself. I hope you guys are having a wonderful night. I hope you guys are enjoying my latest attempt at making noise that doesn't sound terrible. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. And thank you already, Anton Morningstar, for congratulating me on my 4,000 subscriber milestone. Appreciate you so much. Let's make sure our audio is working good. I take it everybody heard that music. Let's make sure everybody's working. Camilla, what's going on, sweetheart?
Not much.
Not much. Okay, I can hear you.
Another night out in the shop, I see. Making good trinkets for the masses.
So, the song I just made up on the fly, so if it sounds familiar, it's just because it's in my heart and it must come from somewhere. So, we'll let that play out and then we'll put on some other background sounds or something at some point. But, yeah. So, we titled this stream something interesting. Kind of an inside joke for those of you who are regulars of the channel. We'll probably know what the joke's going to be and what the answer to the question is going to be. Flesh Priest, where is Magick stored?
Deep, deep within the prison wallet. That is where the great and powerful Aleister Crowley told us all that the magic is stored, and only through the utilization of silicone or the flesh may you unleash that magic upon the world and your fruit of the looms.
Definitely, if you have the right concoction of legumes, you can make the magic happen more. Let me just go share this all over, guys. If you guys are here and you love me and you're glad that I hit 4,000 subs, do me a favor, and anywhere that is legal and lawful that will not get us in trouble with the lamos in the world, share this stream with everybody that you know and love. And let's see if we can push this thing up to 60 or 70 people tonight, where we like to be. Let me post it on my wall, make sure people know it's happening. So hit that like button, let's get it going.
Fucking... Oh. What is that?
What is that? Are you transmitting to another dimension, Colin P?
What are you talking about?
You got some static cling on your side there. Are you doing something?
I'm not doing anything.
Did something click on where you are?
Oh, the heat's on.
Yeah, maybe turn the sensor.
Let me turn it down.
It's perfect now. No, it just went away.
It just went off. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a warm night out tonight. Okay. You got the blower in the garage going off.
Yeah,
welcome, everybody.
That sounded like the fucking Willows by is that short story something Algernon.
Flowers for Algernon?
No, not that. Somebody different. Never mind.
Oh, somebody.
On my references.
I'm thinking of the song.
The evil is in the wind.
I'm thinking of the movie and the book.
Yeah, fucking congrats, by the way, because when I came on to the channel to help out, I think you were celebrating 3K when I did my face reveal, and since then up another 1,000, despite my face being attached to this shit.
Okay. Laptop is tucked. Sounds like something just fried out there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hopefully something bad didn't happen. Because something must have happened. I don't see her anymore. Uh-oh, guys. We might have technical difficulties of the worst possible kind. Give me a moment. I wonder what happened.
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Oh, you scared me. You said laptop is tucked, and I'm like, did it go over the... Did it go over a cliff?
I don't know what happened. I got up to turn the heat down or off, and it completely froze and acted like it was restarting. Weird. But it didn't restart. It just, I don't know. Maybe it could have been because Discord was open too. This is a cheap shit laptop that I got for work purposes, so who knows?
True.
I got a lot plugged into it right now too.
And it was just a $200. It
was just a cheap shit laptop. Yeah.
So I'm just
Not like
setting up
my-
something.
Not like my high-end gaming PC on the couch in there.
Let me see here.
It's not a good stream without some technical difficulties.
Very true.
For we
very
are
true.
3/4 of the Knights of Technical Difficulties.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
We are the originals.
The originals. So, give me a minute, guys. I'm sorry if
And-
I'm a little distracted.
I love that you I don't know if it was intentional or by design, whatever, but I love the fact that you fucking posted the Crowley fucking store the magic in the butt shirt on your fucking Teespring.
Oh, that was actually
I-
going to be something we were going to save for the Mammon portion of the stream, but since you're... that's not
I mean,
the right
we can
window.
get
What you doing
into
here?
it later too, but I thought it was a fucking joke, and then you just posted that, and I got the biggest shit-eating grin when I saw that.
Okay, here we go. Bingo! Here it is,
I'm s-
everybody.
I'm super excited. I already have one on the way.
You have one on the way. The wait is over. For those of you who are here early, we're going to just start selling you crap tonight. Hope you don't mind. So this is the new and much anticipated shirt from my Teespring. Magic is stored in the butt. So act now, and if you want to purchase it, there's actually a cheat code you can use to get a very sizable percentage off. 10%. It's not that impressive. If you use the cheat code that hopefully someone will... what did I put it? Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. I'm really
I think you put
discombobulated
it in
tonight.
Discord.
I did.
I'll grab it.
right?
I got it.
You
I
got
think
it?
put in
Okay.
Discord.
So if you guys are interested, you want to support the stream, you like what I've been doing, you want to celebrate that 4K with me, that'd be a great way to do it. And I'm proud of it. Hopefully, hopefully it's as great for me as it is for you. I mean, just kidding. So let me kill that window for now. We'll come back to that later. I didn't want to jump right into that flesh. I wanted to make it a mystery. I wanted people to think about it and try to figure out what it meant.
Hey, you know me. I can't help but get straight into the butt stuff.
Right to the root of it all.
We need a
Yeah.
Thorne Hub tab, says Eddie. Camilla, what would the intro of the Thorne Hub video section sound like?
That's a good question. That's Warn me next time to turn my headphones down.
Sorry.
Oh, I didn't even hear it that loud. That must have been just on your end. So I had
I
a little
had to turn
caffeine
mine
again
up.
tonight, so I'm going to be retarded. I gotta apologize early, but yeah. So we'll plug that. We'll grift that again later. Someone, I forget who it was. Was it Hellspine? Somebody, I think it was Hellspine actually. Somebody was making a good comment on my latest post where I was talking about how my books just came down in price, and he used the word grift in a positive way, and I'm like, wow, this is a Wednesday miracle, man. I don't even know what to do. So
I didn't think there was a positive spin for that.
but he really did. He put a good
That's
spin
great.
on it.
What was it? I didn't catch that one.
Oh, I'll have to look it up. It was on my post about how my books came down in price, and he said, work that grift, man. I bought all of your books and they're really good, something like that. I'm like, yeah, someone actually said it in a way that wasn't insulting. It was actually really nice. So, and then he goes on, rightfully so, with a social commentary about people who don't like to make money, I guess, and they don't like it when people work for their living and have to do this stuff. But all right, anyway, guys, thank you all for showing up. So we got the slow roll introduction out of the way. So tonight's topic is going to be the usual varied subjects of magic and all of those things. And Peter, we're about to put the link up for that in just a moment. In the meantime, you can actually kind of hunt for it on the link tree. It is hidden in my Teespring. Let me actually grab you that link, and unless Flesh already has it, but let me find it.
Do you remember where you posted that? I'm searching through the channels right now and I'm not finding it.
So
Let me see if I can find it.
I think it was. Well, here's the link to the shirt. I'll put that up in a second. Where is that? I think it was in official announcements or
I
out of
might,
Sanctum.
you know what? I might just be thinking of your books.
Yeah, hold
I
on.
thought I saw something about a discount.
I found it. Okay.
I found it.
Okay, cool. You
Okay.
got it saved.
So here's the dilly dill. Here's the link to the shirt. So you can purchase it. It comes in male sizes, female sizes. It's got, I was gonna do the pussy scene from from Dusk Till Dawn, but I realized that could get me in some trouble, so I'm not gonna do that. So that's the link to the actual shirt, and here is the discount code. Do not buy it without that. It's all caps Magick ITB for Magic in the butt. So if you want to get 10% off the whole store, that includes tapestries like this bad man pajama behind me, which is my Lucifer wall scroll. You know, you can nail it with that. But anyway, guys, so we'll plug that again later. But for now, we'll bring it up later when we get more people in. So let's go back to like what we're going to talk about. So humorously, I asked the question, where is magic stored? How many of you guys know that that's kind of like an improper question? That's kind of silly, right? This idea that magic's stored somewhere. Come on, guys. Like, do you really think magic is a commodity that can be stored? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's all around us. It flows through us and penetrates us.
Well, air does that. Can I store air? Obviously, I do. I'm very like long-winded, and I'm just filled with hot air. So, oh no, CJ Anger says DH should get a butt plug on Etsy and call. Oh man. I think that would be the very definition of selling out. I think now Flesh might do it, but I think I'm just a little too good for that.
Yeah, I might owe him a commission for that.
Yeah.
Is it going to be one of those where it's almost like the turkey poppers, where when magic is ready to be used, a little red boop, pops out? Please use magic now.
So
your magic is done cooking.
But
magic isn't it's not really a battery or anything like that. Like, you don't store it and then just like, well, the juice is run dry. I better let it charge. I mean, I
don't know. Let's play with the idea. Let's dissect this for a moment. Because you know where we're going to end up. We're going to end up in non-duality land somewhere, and we're probably going to talk to a spirit, and the spirit's going to tell us to shut the fuck up and go back to school. So
whatever we do come across in this discussion, please let's not equate it to midi-chlorians.
I reject that.
First of all, they're not midi-chlorians because they don't make any sound. They're not like sound bots or whatever the fuck midis are.
Oh, the three people in the chat really appreciated that joke, and I'm one of them.
I think Eddie was the other one. So
I don't know who the third one is.
Okay. So let us begin. So you guys are in agreement. You can't really store up magic. You can't like put it anywhere, right? Is that what you're saying? You can't collect it and store it. That this is not a commodity to be hoarded and stocked, or is it?
No, I don't think. I think there is an argument to be made when I said that it's not like a battery. I do think that you can burn yourself out. It's not a one-for-one comparison. I do think you can burn yourself out and not lose some of your ability, but lose some of the effectiveness. But no, in terms of like, I don't think it's like a checking account or anything like that where the magic's there and then you pull it out from this one spot. It's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going along the same line, there's times when you feel more invigorated and more like you got the feeling for it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But
remote viewing, I just want to let you know, P is what's stored in the balls. Go ahead, honey. I just want to correct him there. He says magic is stored in the balls. He says, I thought it was the balls, but okay. No, P is stored in the balls. We've already determined that. I think it was Kim Jong-un and
everybody knows
former president, I can't even say his name because I don't get my channel taken down. But I think they agreed on that when they had their peace accord a couple of years ago. But go ahead, Camilla. You were saying, I didn't mean to completely cut you off. It was
that's all right. I'm used to it. It's okay.
I know.
No,
I'm a asshole.
No, I mean, there's times when you feel more attuned to it. Like, oh, I'm just not in the mood today kind of thing, and then there's other days when it's like you wake up and you feel good and you feel fucking powerful as fuck. But it's not like you're storing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like you can just it's not like somebody can hack your leg off and like, oh no, I won't ever be able to use magic again. All my magic was stored in that knee. Oh no, what's a magician to do?
So what about the story of Crowley, where this T-shirt that I'm now selling comes from? where he supposedly, now of course, we have to give some credit to last podcast on the left. I listened to the 10-minute segment where they really went ham on that joke. But let's talk about that for a moment, and let's examine a little bit, like what the fuck that was about. Was Magick stored in the butt in that moment, or what the hell was going on there? What do we think was going on there?
Okay, so I know the part that
tell
you're
us the
talking
story.
about.
Yeah, tell us the story, Flash. Let's go there.
Please do, because
okay.
I never saw that one.
Yeah,
I posted it. I think I posted it on the Discord. If not, somebody should.
You might have. I just didn't get a chance.
Yeah, so everybody, last podcast on the left, I think it was their Left-Hand Path episode 200 or something. They go into Crowley and talk about when he was first developing Thelema, and he was out in the desert with Neudberg. And just go fucking listen to that episode. Those guys are fucking hilarious, and they deserve all the listens. And yeah, they described how Crowley went out there and he like made a salt circle in the middle of the fucking desert with a guy named Neudberg. And so just, yes, you must not remove yourself from the magic circle. Otherwise, bad things will happen. And Crowley immediately stepped out of the circle. Just, oh, I feel something coming over me. And just stripped down naked and just, Neudberg, you must fuck me in the ass. Fuck me in the ass, Neudberg. Do it for Magick.
Do it for Magick.
Basically, power bottomed Neudberg to completion. Oh, what an inappropriate time for a super chat.
Thank you, Shaman. You're paying for sexual congress. Never mind. Shut up.
Shaman says, got a new job. Just want to say hi to all the brothers and sisters out there.
All right. Fuck yeah. Good.
Appreciate
good to
you,
hear,
dude.
Good to hear.
I'm sorry. Sorry, that came in the middle of the fucking power bottoming segment.
Yet another pun. But anyway, so did Crowley apparently. So what?
For those of you who don't know what a
forget,
power bottom is, it's when you're on the bottom of sexual congress, but you're basically doing all the work. You're getting them off from the bottom.
Okay. All right. Fair. So. This is how the ritual went, okay? And most people know this story. He was doing this thing in the desert. This was some really dark shit he was supposedly doing. He was trying to invoke the Aether or the Eon, something like that. And so he and Neudberg, and by the way, you need to look up actual recordings of Crowley. They sound even more like just flimsy than you think they would. Like when you think of Crowley, you really do have to think of what's his name? The bald dude from Addams Family. Fucking, what's his name? Uncle Fester. You got to think Uncle Fester, because that's who they based Uncle Fester on. So he does sound like you would expect. He's got like a really kind of, flimsy voice, and he's just kind of like all over. But so this dude, he leaves his wife. I forget her name. It was like Rose or something. I forget her name. She broke up with her. They got divorced, and he ends up with Neudberg as his lover for a while, and they're traveling all over the place doing like cool ass magic together, supposedly. And this one thing, they had hiked for like a whole day or something to get into this really, really powerful spot, and they create the ritual circle of protection and the triangle of art, the triangle of manifestation. And Crowley does something like what I would do, to be brutally honest. It's the kind of shit I used to do, well, up to the power bottoming part anyway, where he keeps his friend in the circle of protection, and he sits in the triangle of manifestation because he wants to invoke this demonic force, this Karanzan, which he believes or believed, or someone decided later on was an entity that everyone's got to deal with at some point, which I've sort of identified as perhaps just like Legion. There might be no difference at all. Maybe Legion and Karanzan might be the same entity, but I've identified them in a little bit different flavor. So it's possible that they're the same. I had no idea who Karanzan was when I started working with Legion. Well, anyway, so he's got to invoke this spirit, and Karanzan comes through, and I don't think anybody knows the specifics, right? Let me be honest, because nobody was there except for them. And the story we have, comes from both of them. And of course, it's not, Crowley saying, I had to be power bottomed into oblivion. Although he might have said that. He didn't have many taboos. But supposedly, part of this got violent. Neudberg actually defended himself with a knife at one point, and this whole escapade, this whole situation, it wasn't that he power bottomed Neudberg into insanity, but that is a good joke. It is definitely funny, but there was definitely something happens where they lose their shit, and it goes horribly wrong, but also right. But it kind of ruins their relationship, from what I understand. Like their relationship's kind of fucked after that.
I do have to make a minor correction to what you said. They were
Okay.
I forget her name. They were there with some woman because Neudberg was his friend, as I understand it, and this was kind of just impromptu of fuck me in the ass for Magic. Crowley and this other lady were close, but Neudberg, this just kind of happened.
Well, I thought they did become lovers for a while. They definitely traveled a bit and did some hanky stanky panky, but I don't know for sure.
You might be right. I'm not researched enough about Crowley.
Crowley is not one of my idols, so to me he's
same.
more of like an infamous idol. Like I look him up, and it's not that the guy had everything wrong or anything like that. In fact, most of what we do, we can thank Crowley for a lot of what we do. We can thank Madame Blavatsky. We can thank a lot of these people that I disagree with on many levels, but we can thank them a lot for what we do because they really brought it forward a lot. So we got to give them some credit, even if we're going to criticize.
Thank you for laying the groundwork. No, I will not eat a mooncake with you. I'm full.
Exactly. So, okay. We can say power bottom a lot more, Peter. In fact, Camilla, every 5 minutes, set a timer. I want you to just say power bottom. No, just kidding. In fact, power bottom. Did you guys ever watch the old Pee-wee's Playhouse? We should have a secret word.
The word of the day.
The word of the day. If one of us says it, like we got to go nuts. We'll make power bottom the one for this one.
Yeah.
Power bottom. Ooh la la, power bottom. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, take a shot every time they say power bottom. Are you still standing? Then you haven't been listening. Okay. So let's get back to the subject then. So they do this ritual. And he does something which is pretty much exactly like what I've done, would do, and would do again. I don't really have a lot of fear of this. I've sort of, gone around that mulberry bush so many times that to me maybe there is a point where it would break me. I guess it could happen. But when I was younger, I lived in a possessed state, a channeling possessed state. No filter, no safety net, no fucking nothing. It was just, I got this. And I suffered actual consequences for it. In fact, someone brought up Satania, and they did a video on me recently, and I really appreciate them. And last night I sent them the My Dark Experience recording that they're going to make into a video. So check them out. If you don't know who Satania is, aka Morningstar mentioned it, just Google put it in a YouTube search, Satania. They've got a couple of videos. They've got my chants there that they made for some of my stuff, and they're pretty good. But I really like their editing power. They're really good at editing and splicing in cool stuff to make good videos. I'm kind of envious because I don't know if they have the rights to everything they use, but they splice some cool stuff in there and really makes it pop like it's a TV show. So they did a really good job. I felt like I was in a documentary for 5 minutes when they did my episode, the introduction. Awesome. So they did a really good job. But anyway, if you guys are interested, check that out because they're cool. But anyway, that whole situation with them, like I did things I don't recommend everybody try. Like when I say that's something I would do, I'm sure EA would do it too. Like that's why EA and I are like buddies, because at the end of the day, he and I share a spiritual bone. Like we kind of have a very similar mentality about these things that Crowley had. It's like, no filter. I'm gonna charge head first right into the jaws of hell. And I'm just going to hopefully not get power bottomed to death. I worked it in, didn't I?
You said the secret word.
I said it.
I put
so
the
hopefully
link for Satania in the chat.
Thank you, honey. Thank you, sweetie.
Your phone auto-corrected it to satanic.
I hate that. Yeah, it's hell with these phones.
Yeah, duck autocorrect.
For the record, it's Satania in there.
It's Satania, yeah. So, but check out Satania. Satania. I think they like to pronounce it Satania. So, but they got some cool stuff. They got Michael Ford on there. They got some cool shit on there.
I loved their song "Black Magic Woman."
I'll have to find it. Thank you, Scarlett. Scarlett says, congratulations on 4,000. I was watching the clock all day. Like I was watching it. Did I get 4,000 yet? Did I get 4,000 yet? I'm at 399. Did I got 4,000 yet? And when it clicked over, I think I caught it on the minute it happened.
Just one more.
Just one more. Because I had a video queued up ready to be released as soon as it hit 4,000. So, yeah. It was actually a cool video of something that I caught with a crow. It was actually kind of fun. Anyway. So, magic is not stored in the butt, ladies and gentlemen. That is not the point of this. Magic is not stored anywhere. I don't think is really the right way to have an attitude about it. But maybe so we can answer that question, we need to actually dissect what the fuck magic actually is. Maybe that's what we got to do. If we want to figure out if we can store it or not, we have to figure out, is this something that can't even be stored? What does it mean? What could it mean? Why would someone, because I got to tell you, as funny as the sound of that question is, where is magic stored? You obviously know I'm getting up to the Crowley joke. But there's a lot of people out there that really believe they can store magical energy. They can store magic. Well, what's happening when they're doing that? What are they doing? So I want to go between the two of you guys. Now, you guys are representing a more novice to beginner intermediate perspective on this. And I'm sure there's some people who would have some very deep explanations, but let's start with you guys. What do you think that they mean? What do you think it means to store magical energy or magic power? What could that mean? If it does mean anything, or if it doesn't mean anything, what's wrong with it? So we'll start with Camilla. If you got anything you want to say, if not, you can pass. But just your intuition. Don't worry about being wrong or right. You didn't research this. This is just what I think.
Oh, we're on the spot.
Well, it's like, it's not really stored or anything, but like when you're going into do something, you definitely feel it in you. You feel a different sort of energy coursing through you, Like mine typically starts around the heart and emanates from there.
Mm-hmm.
Deer in the headlights, thank you.
just stare at your elbow or something. Stare at the inside.
I got you. Cut me off when you're ready. I admit that this is kind of the framework I've been working with, and it could change, but I go with the magic is. It's really
just so you know, you are really roboting tonight. I don't know if it's.
Oh, what?
It'll probably clear up in a second. But you're back now.
Hopefully hopefully that will be better. I turned my gain up. So To me, the framework I work with is that magic will manifest in your reality. So I don't really think. I think when people talk about, storing magic or charging magic, it's kind of just, in a way, it's kind of akin to just like, okay, Friday, I know I got to do the thing. I'm going to get ready to do the thing. I'm going to get all my affairs in order. It's doing all of that internally. And then when Friday comes, you just release all that energy and you go out and you do the thing. Like it's not something that you store. It's not a liquid that you pour in a container or anything.
Okay. So that's I think I like both of your answers for different reasons. And I'm reading some of the comments, people saying magic is stored in me, human bodies on all realms. That was Angramanu. I feel like magic is synonymous with will. CJ kind of agrees with you there, Fleshy. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. We could go into the whole non-dualistic thing, and I'm going to. But before I do.
But the spirits say panpsychism is superior.
Yeah. That's the conversation I wanted to have with that guy before he turned into a giant bag of D's. The general comparison of it and why I like it or don't like it. But anyway, so here we go. All right. First, let us understand. Let me start you with a premise, okay? Every single thing that you experience, that you manifest as experience, is magic. Every breath, every step, every moment, everything in your space that you see, feel, touch, and smell, and all that, every experience is magic. Every single thing that your awareness is aware of is magic. That is what magic is. And the reason I say that, in the traditions of the Orient that I love the best, the non-dual traditions, the word we're trying to quote here is called Maya. And Maya means a couple of different things all screwed up as one word. It means delusion, it means dream, and it means magic. So magic is the manifestation. And C.J. Anger says that magic is simply us experiencing. That is magic. Okay, that literally would be my definition of magic. Probably I can improve it, but we're going to start there with that statement. Magic is simply us experiencing. It is the experiences that we're having. It is the entirety of the projected experiences. So there's consciousness knowing itself, and in the process of knowing itself, it creates this pattern delusion. And to do so, it actually has to limit itself. So consciousness has to limit itself from the totality of what it is. We'll say the universe, just for argument's sake. It has to be a universe, an infinite universe for that matter. And it's got to limit itself with rules, ideas, concepts, and personal boundaries so that it can have an experience. Okay? And in the act of that limitation, it creates all of the experiences we have because of the kinds of rules that it decides for itself. So if it decides that it's a star, then the limits of a star are huge, but they're still limited compared to the limits of a galaxy or something like that. So as a human being, your limits are very small. So it limits itself and says, I'm here and I'm only here, but I'm not there right now. Okay? But it doesn't separate. Separation is, there is only perspective, there is no separation. Separation is the illusion of perspective. It's kind of like if I were to take both of my eyes and you know, rip one out and destroy it, so I only have one, and then like look around, I could make myself, if I did it right, feel like there's two different eyes, right? But they're both the same experience. That's the thing we talk about all the time. But magic is the moment-to-moment manifestation of experience that is the result of the non-dual consciousness wrapping its head around itself. As consciousness tries to limit itself so that it can have a living awareness of itself, as it does this, it reifies these ideas and makes them into things. Now, Angramagno says, I'm not sure who's quoting, but I'm probably gonna. I haven't read it yet. I only read
David R. Hawkins.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I agree. Consciousness is the formless, invisible field of energy, wrong already, of the infinite dimension of potentiality, also wrong already, independent of time, space, and location, correct, of which is independent yet all-inclusive and all-present. Okay, so here's where he's wrong. The moment he defined it as a formless, invisible field of energy is the moment he was wrong. He's already reified it by comparing it to things that are not what it is. He's already destructed the illusion. He's already made the illusion he's already confirmed the illusion for himself. This is why it's so hard to teach non-duality directly, because if I tell you what it is, you go, in fact, I can't tell you what it is, but if I try to tell you what it is, I've got to use endless metaphors because you can't describe it for what it is. But if I was going to say consciousness is the formless, invisible field of energy, no, it's not formless and invisible because it can know itself. It is without form in the sense that it is chaotic. Yes, that could be true, but within that chaos is also form. So saying it's formless is false because it clearly contains form within itself. It is both formless and form. It is both the alpha and the omega. So to say it's formless, I think is not fair. Invisible is not fair also because you're seeing something, aren't you? What are you seeing then? So to say it's invisible, so it contains invisible. Yeah, I guess maybe that's what he meant, Angramanu, but I think we can do a better definition than that. I like Rupert, what's his name? Rupert Sheldrake or something? Rupert Spira? I think it's Rupert Spira. Look up Rupert Spira. He's got a great program. Very slow to watch, though. Very slow to watch. Okay, so let's get back to the subject of what magic is. So magic is this state of experience that consciousness has when it limits itself down to this little bubble of perception that it calls the self. When it goes from being the infinite thing that it is and becomes a mind, it must create a separate dimension of itself. It must take... The Ouroboros concept is excellent. That's actually what I'm getting at. The Ouroboros concept, CJ Anger, is actually close to what I'm getting at. Consciousness is the Ouroboros eating its own tail. Consciousness is knowing itself, and in the process of knowing itself, it is an Ouroboros eating its own tail. It is a Mobius strip that never ends. It just cycles into itself over and over. But to do so, it's got to simplify itself down into a tail that it can devour, right? It's got to take itself and make itself simplified. It's got to simplify itself down. So the moment consciousness wants to know itself, it's got to stop being everything and then become a small little something. Even if it's 99.9% of what it actually is, that's still smaller than what it is. And so therefore it can have an experience of itself now. And then it must shrink itself down into smaller and smaller things to know the details within the relationships of themselves. So it's just like when I give you the analogy of reading a book. If I hold up my book Shadownomicon and I'm looking at this, am I experiencing the totality of the book as it is? Yes, I am. I'm not reading it, but I'm experiencing it. This is the whole thing. But if I want to know the relationship of every letter and word on the page, I've got to open it and I've got to limit my perception to a smaller piece of it at a time. So that is what magic is. It is taking the infinite and dividing the infinite into a known and unknown, a forgotten and a remembered. This creates the illusion of everyday life in your life. That is already the magic. That is already it. Okay? That is already, that is magic. Now, what do we mean when we say we're doing magic? What the fuck are we talking about? This is why we get into trouble, right? Because even I make a living on talking about doing magic, and I'm kind of doing you guys a disservice. Because you're already doing magic. Everybody watching right now, you're doing magic right now. That is exactly what you're doing. You are doing magic as we speak. You're creating me as we speak. You're inventing me as we speak. Yes, you're having inspiration from what I am doing, the thing opposite yourself, so you think. But it's really like you have a hand puppet going like this. And you forgot that your hand is in the puppet and you're talking to yourself. You have an alternate personality in your head and you don't realize it's both the same person. Well, it's that way with everything around you. So you're playing a game with yourself. It's magic. So when we're talking about doing magic, we come into the world of Maya. In other words, the concept of doing magic like we're talking about is like doing science. We have to already make the understood assumption that we are allowing ourselves to experience the illusion and treat the illusion as if it's real up to a point to do magic. We have to accept that magic is possible from the intentional sense. And it is, but the intention that's doing it isn't the ego. It's not D.H. Thorne. It's not Camilla. It's not Flesh Priest. We're not doing it at all. In fact, we're the puppets that are being done. We are the thing that's doing the magic is inside the whole show, pretending it has nothing to do with it. Let me put it to you guys like this. How many of you guys, outside of watching me, how many of you guys actually ask the question, actually pay attention, and Camilla might remember me hearing this today when I was listening to my YouTube, and it was a good question. How many of you asked the question, what is this thing that is experiencing right now? What is the thing that is having the experience? What is that? How many people never asked that question before in their life? Doesn't even know what that means? How many people in your life that you know have never even stopped for a moment or been taught? This has never been taught to you. No school will ever say to you, By the way, what part of you is having the experience of right now? In fact, if you try to approach the question, a lot of the organized world will tell you, stop that. It's just insanity. It's just your imagination. It's not what you think. It's a product of all these particles in the world. That's what's doing it. It's the most inhuman thing. It's actually very, very frustrating. Most people don't even stop and ponder the question, what is having the experience right now? What is having that experience right now? And the thing that is having that experience right now is what's doing the magic. You think that you have free will because that's what the ego does. The ego wants to be like, look at how in charge I am. Look at me. I'm separate from all of this stuff. I'm free from all of this stuff. In fact, if I want to walk over there, I can walk over there and there's nothing in the way that can stop me. I have free will right now. I am free. And so a lot of magicians, because they don't understand what they are, they get really built up in their head that magic is somehow to do with will. It's my willpower that's making magic happen. I would challenge you guys. I would challenge you guys who think that to really put that to the test. In fact, give yourself like difficult problems that you can test with. If you tell me it's your will that does everything, that somehow it's the force of your will that does it all, number one, you've got to define exactly what that will is. You've got to define it in a way that will prove that it is there. Don't say it's something you can't prove exists. I can prove my consciousness exists to myself. In fact, that's the only thing I can prove exists to myself is my consciousness. Same for you. If that's the only thing that is there, if that's the only thing that is real, is consciousness, and it is not limited to me, by the way. Me is the illusion. Consciousness is universal. The me is what's singular. What in the universe could that consciousness be separate from in order for it to have will that's free from anything? How can you have free will if you are everything, is what I'm getting at. How can the front of your hand have free will over the back of its hand? How can your lungs have free will over the air that it inhales? They go together. They are perfectly synced. There's nothing for your will to be free from. What is your will? What do you think your will is? Really try to prove it to yourself. Well, you're going to say, well, I'm having a different thought than you right now. Therefore, I've got free will. Are you sure? Are you sure that you're not thinking that because some part of you already, that you have no control over, decided it for you? Let me ask you something. Where do your thoughts come from? Do you have control over your thoughts right now? You're going to tell me, yes, I do, because I know I can choose what to think. Oh, you can choose what to think. So that means the thoughts don't control themselves, do they? Something else made you think a thought, right? If I say to you, think of something random, you already know what you're going to think of before you think of it. And I've said this before, they've done scientific tests where they can actually show you that they can predict pretty much 98 to 100% of the time what you're going to do before you do it, up to, I think it was 10 seconds was the longest they got. Maybe it was a little bit longer even. They can actually predict you that well with an EKG and doing a little bit of study of your brain for about 5 minutes. They can completely predict if they give you a left hand or a right hand choice, long before you are aware of what your decision's going to be. Long before. Go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that Vsauce? Wasn't that an episode of his?
I think they did show that on Vsauce. I think they did, but if not, we'll have to look it up.
I believe it was him.
It might have been.
I remember watching that with you.
I think it was him. I think it was on that show, the one that was the paid version of the show.
Mind Blown or whatever.
Yeah, Mind Blown. I think is what it was. Yeah.
The only good YouTube Premium show.
The only one I would ever pay for would be that one, to be honest. That and Cobra Kai when it was out on YouTube. So your idea of free will is an illusion too. Every decision, and I'm telling you this from my hard skeptical side, every single decision you've ever made was already made long before you were consciously aware of making the decision. It's just like this. If I were to hand you a super hot potato, most of us know what would happen. We'd drop it before we even felt the heat, a lot of us, right? Most of us have had that accidental moment in history where we grabbed something out of the oven that was too hot and we forgot, and we fucking dropped that shit before we even realized how hot it was. What part of you did that? You had no control over that, did you? Now, maybe you could. I think all of us also know that if we really wanted to, we could keep holding on to that pan if it was really that important. But the decision to do that was already made long before the situation happened. In fact, this is one of the reasons why, like in martial arts and video games, human beings have reaction time. If I flash something on the screen that you have no way of knowing is coming, there's a delay between when you experience it and when you act. And by the time you've made the cognitive decision to act on it, you've already decided long before that. It might be a few microseconds, but in science, that might as well be years. It's not something that you're doing consciously. So what then has free will, if not this identity of D.H. Thorne? D.H. Thorne has no free will of his own at all whatsoever. Everything that D.H. Thorne is an idea in, for lack of a better term, God's mind. How dare D.H. Thorne think he has free will if D.H. Thorne himself is a story that's being told by a higher thing? How dare you think you have free will? That's ridiculous. So someone's going to then say, oh, everything's nihilistic. That means there's no point in anything. I'm not saying that you don't have choices. I'm saying that your idea of free will is based on a delusion of separation between self and other. You think there's a subjective and objective world and that they're not the same thing. You think that you are independent in your actions from your environment because you're an identified idea. And because you think you're this identified idea and that exclusively, you have a real big problem recognizing that you're doing all of this. So remember what I said before about the hot potato and you dropped it without knowing it? Well, you actually did the hot potato too. You set that scenario in motion already. That's part of your story. So something is actually there that does have some kind of an ability to choose one outcome from another. What is that? Again, the secret is it's not you. It is not D.H. Thorne. It's not Nia the Mystic. It's not Necro Nikki. It's not T. Camilla. It's not Flesh Priest Will Be Right Back. The thing that has that authority is already exercising it. So in the Matrix, there was a scene where Neo goes to the Oracle, and they're talking about free will, and Neo says, so there's no free will? Like, who decides? You've already chosen. Well, then what's all this? This is where you learn to understand why. Brilliant scene. People just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't come here to make the choice. You came here to understand why.
You came here to
back at the
understand
perfect
why.
Moment.
Yeah.
Talking my language.
Hellspine says two things. He says, I want to be a real boy. Yeah, exactly. That's what the ego is. Ego is fucking Pinocchio. Your ego is abso-damn-lutely Pinocchio. It wants to be real, and it's not. It never will be. CJ also says, you're familiar with the ship of Theseus. Oh, am I? I love the ship of Theseus. If that doesn't prove that you don't exist, but you do, I don't know what else does. That you're just a story, a collection of ideas. That whole thing is wonderful. So, this whole idea that magic can be stored. Is there an analogy that could be accurate? What is being stored? It's not will. It's not intention. You can't store intention. How can you store intention? How can you store will? That's what is will or intention that you could store it? That can't be it. And what is magic that you can store it? If we know magic is the experience of every moment happening, how could you store that? What does that even mean? So, if we can't define magic as a substance, and someone's going to say it's energy, and someone's going to say it's this and it's that, there's a very big word that I think everyone should add to their big dictionary. And it's called reification. It's spelled R-E-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N. Reification. And it is this concept whereby we will treat something as a literal thing that is in actuality not a literal thing. It is where that's its fundamental meaning. And a good example of that is when we look at a cloud, like Flesh Priest just vaped on us all. Sometimes when we do that, don't we see faces and weird stuff in that smoke? If you're looking at the clouds on a sunny day and you're sitting there with your best friend and you're staring up at the clouds, maybe you took a few hits or whatever, you're watching the clouds, don't those sometimes look like things?
Yeah, like a pretty pony or a choo-choo train. Yeah.
Right? Aleister Crowley's bunghole, something. There's always something it's going to look like.
Oh, that cloud looks like it's going to power bottom me.
Power bottom. So big dictionary energy. Thank you, Eddie. I like that. Put that in the book of happies in the Facebook. I mean, on the Discord. The quotable unquotes or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm glad I'm not
big
the only
dictionary
one who
energy.
thought that.
Just make sure you put the big dick. The DIC should be on all caps. Big dictionary.
Big dick.
I am a big dick. There's no question. So the clouds in the sky are clouds. So we've got actually multiple levels of reification, but we'll start there. We have clouds, and we see a puppy dog shape in the clouds. You say, hey, look, it's a dog. No, that's not a dog, right? We'd all agree that's not a dog, right? We'd all go, okay, it looks like a dog. So that's the reification of a cloud into a dog. Well, guess what? That reification process, you can go another layer down. You could say, well, no, that's not a cloud. A cloud is just a collection of water vapor that is close enough together so that our eyes separate it from the regular atmosphere around it. It's an area of high density vapor. It's not a cloud. Clouds are reification of high density vapor. Okay, well, we can reify high density vapor to, that's not high density vapor. That's actually a bunch of water molecules. And they're caught in a pressure modality in which they are grouped together, and these water molecules kind of, because of the static nature of water where it has surface tension, it wants to condense on things. That's why it makes these droplets of vapor. So we're actually looking at H2O molecules, and they're just arranged in a certain way, and we call that a cloud. Good.
CJ Anger says, do we make the character of the thing because it looks like it, or does the spirit appear when we find it in the smoke? They are one and the same. They
are one and the same. CJ Anger might be getting it if he didn't already. Awesome point. Yes. If you see the face in the smoke and you say, I think that's the spirit, it probably is. That doesn't mean that the spirit is in the smoke. That's ridiculous. Just like that there is no spoon in the Matrix. There's no spirit in that. What are you, stupid? But you've identified the spirit in your experience, and that's where it really is. The smoke is your signal. The smoke is your inspirational. It's the note from your experience to say, hey, think about this spirit. Ah, there he is. I see him now. That's when you're making. This is why this is actually really easy. A lot of people don't realize just how easy it is to work with spirits. They're in front of you all over the place, all the time. All you got to do is reach out and grab them and imagine them, and do it with the right sense of both an open mind, so that you're open to what they're going to tell you. You have to allow yourself to imagine them on purpose, and then let go of that imaginary thing you created. And then, in other words, it's difficult for people because they can't separate their linguistic mind from what they're experiencing. If I ask Lucifer a question, I know when it's him and when it's me, like when I'm just putting words in his mouth, or when it's Lucifer actually talking through my mind. I can tell the difference. You know how? Because I have no idea what he's going to fucking say. And the ironic thing is that I will get an idea of what he's going to say, and then I will animate it in my imagination and make it happen so that I can relate to it. Now that's the hard part for people to put into perspective. I don't need to have that internal vision of me standing there talking to a fallen angel on a throne. That's not what he is. That's just, what's the word I'm looking for? That is just the reification of my idea of Lucifer. I'm reifying Lucifer out of the ether of my cognition of that being. And I'm creating a form for him out of my thoughts. So as we're reifying our experience, at any point in that process, so here you are, your consciousness, and your consciousness is a state of infinite knowing. But that state of infinite knowing has basically done this and simplified what it's able to see into this small little shape. This is why I love the symbolism of the all-seeing eye. Because that's exactly what you are. You are the all-seeing eye, but the symbol of the all-seeing eye is what? It's the symbol of this radiant eye looking out through a little keyhole, a little triangular keyhole. That's the all-seeing eye. How can the all-seeing eye see all if it's limited to this little pin, this little triangle? Duh, because that's the trinity of self that it's looking through. The mind, body, and spirit. It's looking through that delusion, and it's limited itself to that little perspective. But that eye, if you remove that triangle, can see everything. So while you are here as this infinite experience of knowing, where you focus that attentive knowing, because you have to focus it to have these experiences, where you focus it limits what it can see. And in the process of doing that, the patterns emerge, and those patterns are reified in the finite mind, the Atman. They're reified by the mind to become dogs, cats, trees, people, fire hot, all of that shit. Because if you ask a scientist what something is, if they're going to be honest with you, they're going to stumble all over themselves and not be able to give you an answer. They're going to say, I don't know what baryonic matter actually is. They can give you a whole pile of particles that makes up baryonic matter. But when you ask them, what is that stuff? They have no clue yet. That's why they don't have a theory of everything yet. They have no fucking clue what that actually is.
It's like trying to describe a color.
Good point. Yeah, it's a lot like that.
It's a lot of pointing at things, but not being able to put your finger down on the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Lord Sparta says, this reminds me of the classes you have, Thorne. Thank you. Although I like to think my classes are a little bit more focused, and I don't need caffeine to keep up.
Yeah, the last one, the only one I've been able to tune in live to, went very well. It was very serious up until the end when we got a little bit romantic.
Janky. Yeah. Honestly, dude, watch the old ones. You need to do the Cyball one, dude. That was one of my favorite ones to do. And anybody who was there for that one knows, like that one, the look on people's faces of like, wait a minute, I can feel this shit for real? Like, it's not just in my mat. I literally felt something in my hands. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go and watch those. That one especially has me excited.
You don't have to, but I recommend you watch the other three before it, because the energy buildup, the meditative energy buildup, to kind of shoot myself in the face and contradict myself, talking about storing shit up. Doing those three videos builds up the awareness you need to make it more likely to happen on the first try. But most people can have this experience on the very first try. I'm talking even mundane people that don't know their asshole from a magic wand. Most people, if you have them do this with the right attitude, Most people can feel that shit.
I remember sitting in, I think it was 3rd grade at my desk, and I did something like that. Totally didn't know what the hell it was. I just remember holding my hands there, and it felt like a magnet in between them.
It feels a lot like, yes, that's the, so there's a bunch of different ways it can feel, but the one that I think is most common, and it's the way I feel it, is like a magnet.
Like a repelling magnet.
Like a repelling. Now, actually, one of the gentlemen in my class kind of did the inversion of that, which I've done too, and it took a little bit of practice for me to get there, but he did it the very first time. He got the opposite of that. He got the black hole version where it's sucking his hands together.
Oh, cool.
He felt a pull instead of a push, and I'm like, no, that's cool. It's just
That's really cool.
However you did it though was backwards. So it's the same thing, but you created what I would call a yin ball instead of a yang ball. Like you basically made it a receptive ball. So pretty badass, yeah. Mm-hmm. Dice Controller, you actually have to join my $20 a month live group class Patreon level to watch that. If you go to my Patreon account, which is in the link tree, when you find that, you can, it costs $20 a month, and the classes are every Monday from 3 to 5. If you can't make the classes, though, all of those videos are stored and shared, and at some point, I'm probably going to store them and share them in a more protected way, but they're stored and shared so that you guys can watch them anytime. And it gives you access to a special thing on Discord that lets you see it. But I also post them every week on Patreon, but only to that tier. So if you're not that tier, you won't see it. The very first class I put up for free back in, I don't know, beginning of the month of, I guess it was February.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
So super chat here from Mr. CJ Anger. He sends a winky face kissing out a heart.
Because he said the brown eye thinks all.
Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you so much, man.
We have a comment from Sadistic Tomato too. They say, I gained
Nice
some
name.
type of I like it.
Yeah.
I gained some kind of enlightenment when I was falling asleep, and I saw an eye shape, and all of a sudden I thought, I am, and it hit me.
Yeah,
I
am.
am.
I am, yeah.
So it meant the eye looking back at me.
I like the way you said that. I gained some kind of enlightenment, because it is a taboo to say I'm enlightened, and there's a reason why it's a taboo. And it's a good taboo. It's actually one of the few taboos that I mean, I'll shit on it and still say it anyway, but it's it actually makes sense. If you say I'm enlightened, that's silly. Your ego can never be enlightened. Your ego, if anything, to say I'm enlightened shows you're not. But I get your point totally, because you're still the enlightenment feeling. We know what we're talking about. I'm just being pedantic here. But he says I gained some kind of enlightenment, and this is why I will often say you are the eye behind the eye. Right? And when I say that, when I say you are the eye behind the eye, you can kind of flip around the I, the letter I, for the word I, E-Y-E. They're both synonymous when I say that. If I say you are the eye behind the eye, so that would mean you are the capital I behind your eyeball, but that capital I behind your eyeball is the eye behind the capital I.
What this all translates to is English is wonderful, English is awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. And CJ Anger says, eyes are the gateway to the soul, your soul. When we say eyes, yeah, when you look in someone's eyes, you're actually seeing a reflection of yourself. And that can tell you a lot about the person you're looking at too, of course. Yeah.
And as a quick thing, we've been going for 66 minutes here, 66.6 minutes.
And I've been ranting the whole time. I didn't get to the point yet. Just kidding.
This is a live call-in show, so if any of you are interested in getting on, speaking your mind, asking questions, or telling stories, go ahead and jump on Skype, message Flesh Priest, or join our Discord at that little doobly-doo up above, and Flesh Priest is on there as well. Hit me up on either of those, and we'll see about getting you on.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We
keep
meaning to, we were going to add a phone number so you guys could literally call in, and I do want to do that. I keep forgetting to do that. Maybe we'll take the the super chats from tonight, and I will pump that in and get a phone number we can use. But I got to make sure it's not something that people can pester me with when I'm not interested. It's got to be something that I can like turn off, except for when it's a live stream, because I don't need randos. Like, I love you guys. Like, so many of you guys are cool, but there's a lot of people that message me with these like screens full of just like, I saw like this weird orb and then my bed floated around, and it's just like, I don't have time. I don't have time, guys. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm
and
not
a couple times, I remember you didn't answer someone, and they started to call you through
They
Facebook
started to
messages.
call me.
They were
started
calling you through Facebook.
Oh.
It's like, no, you don't do that.
And they got mad too. They got mad. Like literally mad. Like, why aren't you responding to me? Like, first of all, where's that green, baby? You don't owe me. You know, where's the ring on my finger, bitch? You know, I'm not saying that I do everything for money, but shit, you want my attention and I don't know you. You either got to come, look, what's the saying, gas, grass, or ass? Well, in this case, it's respect. Give me the respect I deserve. And that doesn't mean kissing my ass. It means, look, there's a lot of people that are currently in my circle that wouldn't have been there except they took the time to be helpful and obvious, and they were around and they were nice. Yep. And I saw, hey, you know what? They're pretty cool.
Let me say what you're pointing at in my terms. You're not some magical booty call.
Right? I'm not a Magick Gina. Instead of a mangina. Who here saw that movie? It was one of his best movies.
I saw that movie.
What movie was that? That was the Gigolo. The Gigolo.
Yeah, Deuce Bigelow.
I don't remember that.
Gigolo. Oh, you need to watch it. We got to put it on the list.
No, I saw both the movies. I don't remember that bit.
Maybe it was
he says you're just a mangina. He gets him in the hot tub, the pimp guy, and he's like you got to use your mangina or whatever it was. Yeah, no. Well,
I don't remember that. God damn. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a Magick Gina. Like, you can't just it's got to be when I want it to be. But for real though, in all honesty though, I love everybody's I try to get to everybody when it's reasonable. Like, anybody who watches my YouTube videos, you'll see I'm commenting all the time. Not on everybody. I save my comments for the ones that I can really actually give my attention to. And you'll notice that I will sometimes give them several pages worth of answer in my response. Like, I'm not lazy about it. It's just I have to pick and choose my attention. Someone actually said, "Oh, Thorne will never see this or respond." No, I read pretty much every comment, even the rude ones, and I do my best. I really do. But this whole man pussy. Who loves orange soda says man pussy. You damn right I'm a man. Wait, am I a man pussy? I don't know. I'm a little bit of a pussy as guys go, I guess.
No.
I'd say you're a man bussy.
I'm a man pussy. I'm a man Busey. That's what I am. I'm a Busey. I'm a long lost Busey. That's what I am.
Patchwork with the super chat says, "I am living magic."
You fucking are. Patchwork
Hell
definitely
yeah.
is. Patchwork definitely is. But, again, a lot of what you see here is just me being Thorne to entertain you guys on a Thursday and just to keep this fun. But in all brutal honesty, I love this. I'm so proud to get it 4,000 subs. I'm so happy to do that. Especially considering the year we just had where everything just kind of flaked out and went to shit for so many people. I'm so happy to be doing something like this, even if it's not paying all the bills anymore. Even if it did, even if it didn't.
Unending shitstorm.
It's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I know you'd be doing this if it was 100. That number doesn't fucking matter in that sense.
I mean, I like keeping score because it's fun. Like, it makes me competitive with myself. But so long as it's not 0, I'm okay, right? Like
some competition's healthy.
Well, especially there's competition in the spirit of improving each other. I love competition in the spirit of I'm better than you. I don't like. So
exactly.
Like, I avoid the I'm better than you competition always. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's why we have the rule around outshare somebody, don't out argue them with the server.
Yeah, and I love that. I think we phrased that pretty well. If you guys join our Discord, right? Some of you guys are listening to me going, "Oh, I think Thorne's wrong," or "Oh, I think Thorne's right," or whatever, and you're coming in with the intention to argue. Arguments in the rational sense are perfectly valid. The problem is when you're arguing from the position of I want to change somebody's mind, At that point, you kind of are violating the intentions of this group. We actually had a dude. We're gonna blow somebody's spot up. I hope he's watching so he can see why we blew him up. He shows up on our Discord server, and within moments, like his first responses were just being incredibly, I don't know if the word was pedantic, but incredibly silly about the rules we had. He's like, I thought you guys were left-hand path Luciferians and you've got rules here? Like, all right, Chief.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, it's like, all right, dude. Do you care if I just, I don't know, just reach in your pocket and take your money? Do you have a rule about that? I mean, we got rules for a reason, doofus, and like, so this guy was just being snarky and we just wouldn't let him in. So we have rules on the server, yes, but those rules are very open. We have just a couple of principles. If you don't act like a dick and cause problems and act like an argumentative prick, you're welcome to be there. If you want to share a difference of opinion, make it a sharing of the opinion, not a contest of opinions. If your opinion is better, you won't need to prove it, is what I'm saying. If your idea is more accurate and true, all you need to do is just share it without the intention of, I'm going to prove Thorne wrong. As soon as I sense you're trying to prove me wrong, what's it going to make me do? Is it going to make me open my mind to you being right? No, because I know your intention is not to get to the truth. It's to prove me wrong.
Yeah, like, I actually really liked the conversation we had with Damien Draco the other day in the Chamber of Spirits channel.
Mm-hmm.
Just like,
Damien's a cool guy. I like Damien.
Yeah, I thought that was a good example of, like, he came with, like, hey, I'm worried about this, like, I see it as this way, and then you responded with, I don't really think it's that way, but, like, not attacking him at all, just the idea, just, like...
Sharing your opinion on it all.
Yeah. Nobody got hurt, nobody was
Not
trying to
being
change each other's...
inflammatory.
Yeah, just, like, here's some different ideas. Like,
I hope
yeah,
I live
love
up to
that.
my own standard, because whenever I do those things, I'll talk from a position of authority, but it's not the authority that says you can't differ. It's the authority that says this is my authority. Like, I'm sovereign over my own opinion. This is what I know to be true. I don't speak what I believe. I speak what I know. There's a little bit of a difference. If I'm talking about something, if you don't hear me with a whole bunch of Italian qualifiers wrapped all over it and stamped on it, where I go, I think, maybe, kind of, sort of, whatever. If I'm not doing that, if I'm saying this is what I see, then that is what I see. It is not I believe. It is a one-for-one, as best as I can translate what I see as true. Does that mean that that's your truth? Well, actually, built into all of my positions on Magick and all of these things, I'm laughing because Jason made a funny comment. I don't know if you saw what I'm reading. Built into what I'm doing is the understanding that you have your own subjective truth that trumps whatever I tell you. So no matter what I say to you, I recognize that you might have an experience that's telling you I'm wrong for you. There is no objective, this is how it is. Okay? But I'm telling you from experience, this is why I see it this way. And if you follow what I'm saying, I promise you better success than a lot of the alternatives I heard. Whenever I hear something that sounds superstitious, oh, well, it's bad to do this because this spirit hates that. Why? Oh, it's bad to do it. It's actually good luck to throw salt over your shoulder. Why? What makes it good luck? What about salt? Well, salt's a purifying agent. What makes it a purifying agent? Well, I don't know, because I read it in a book. Okay, I'll tell you why it's a purifying agent. Because salt, it actually draws out the liquids and things. It's basically a desiccant that draws things out and kills bacteria. You can salt meat and it'll last for months in a closet, whereas if you just leave it in there by itself, it'll go rancid and you can't eat it. So salt has a tendency to make things last longer, which to the ancient mind was, hey, look, we're purifying it of its evil spirits and we're making it pure and clean, and it stays that way. So it becomes a purifying agent. And it also stores things. It's a great, it draws things into itself. So built into salt in the human experience is that salt collects and absorbs the things that to the ancients were naughty in their life, right? You put your salt on your meat lasts longer. You put salt in this, it'll draw the liquid out and it'll dry it out. And so therefore it also consumes and draws things into itself. So what do? And I think we lost Flesh Priest. I think we actually lost him. Hopefully he's okay. He'll call back when he comes back, hopefully. Like we actually lost... Oh no, he's really small. There he is. No, he's there. He just, dude, you shrunk down to the size of a postage stamp.
Tiny.
You were the size of a fucking postage stamp.
Look at Ant-Man over there.
I shrunk down so that I might go inside Crowley. He is Thanos, and I am Ant-Man, and I will steal his magic.
We need to hardwire your computer up, bro. Because you just got huge now for the opposite reason why you got small before. Oh, look, there he is. You know what you look like right now?
What do I look like to you?
My absolute favorite Radiohead song. You remind me of the video of that when he's standing in the blue light singing. All right, let me shrink you back down to normal size.
Oh, just gonna. I don't know why that happens.
Are you hardwired in the Ethernet?
Yeah.
Well, then it's on my end then.
Yeah. I don't know why you allow this to happen. I don't know why your will manifests in this.
I'm an asshole. We all know that. So salt, when someone says if I throw salt over my shoulder, it gives me good luck, it's because of a superstitious idea that was born out of the fact that salt is a preservative. And it became a superstitious idea. Now that doesn't mean that salt used in ritual won't have that effect, that exact effect. But the reason it has that effect has nothing to do with it being salt. In fact, as a youngin', when we were learning how to break magic and do magic in all different ways, we'd have all kinds of things that would substitute for shit that we didn't have. If we didn't have something, we'd draw a picture of it, and it still worked. Why? Because it wasn't the substance. It was the idea that the substance represented. This is why everything in magic is symbolic. Every damn thing. This is why someone who is not Christian or has a hard hatred for Christianity has a little trouble with some of the Golden Dawn stuff and all this other stuff that uses so much of the Kabbalah. This is why people who work with demons won't use the Sephirah. They will use the Clip-Off because they go, oh, I don't like God's stuff. I think that's wrong. So I want to use the other side. Then it will work for you, but you still live in the symbology of that system. And so you get kind of caught up in it, and it kind of gives you some. I had too much caffeine again, guys. Can you tell?
That's okay.
That was I can't actually because I just know. Yeah, I know you get excited about this stuff, so I legitimately can't tell. But I'll be honest.
Angry Manu, I'm just going to jump in. Angry Manu says, "What the bleep do we know?" Great movie, by the way. Yes, go ahead.
That was kind of some of my issues with jumping into the Goetia at first. Just, oh man, I don't want to deal it. Like, this is so tied to the fucking Christ stuff. I don't want to fucking touch this. Fuck that. And now look at me.
I got to be brutally honest. I agree with you, but there's something fun about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, I've tried to go pagan, and I don't like pagan. It turns into right-hand path worship real fast, and I don't like it. And when I do go into the pagan stuff, what do I look for? The primordial darkness shit. I want to know Erebus and Nyx. I want to know Tartarus. I want to know the underworld. I want to know Hades. In other words, Pluto, honey, your ruler as a Scorpio is yeah. So your actual ruler is the god of the underworld, Hades. Actually, sweetie, it's pretty cool. Whereas mine is just fucking Aries, god. Fucking Aries, Mars. Like fuck. I'm just. If you read the mythology of Mars, he's actually a dick. Of Aries. Actually, in Rome, he was really cool. That's why he's so important to the Roman astrology. But to the Hellenistic people, the Ares Mars. I always have a hard time saying it right because I want to say Aries and it's actually Aries or Ars or something like that. He's actually not really cool. He's actually the other gods are like, oh no, not this dude. Because whenever he shows up, he destroys crap.
Why did we invite him?
Yeah. Exactly. In fact, but I love Phobos and Deimos. Oh man, look those two gods up. Oh yeah,
I love those levels in Warframe.
True. But so I'm not dunking on paganism, by the way. I don't mean to do that. But I have to admit that seeing these spirits as adversarial satanic beings is what I like. I like seeing them as adversarial because it just kind of gets my blood flowing. But it's not that that's what they are. It just gets my blood flowing. It's kind of like, you know, why do I like heavy metal and not just like, you know, we'll say Christian rock, right? Like, even if it's not easy listening, why do I like heavy metal versus easy listening? Well, it's edgier. Okay, I like the edgy side. I'm going to admit it. I like edgy stuff. Is that okay? Guys, you okay with the fact I like edgy? Is it okay to like edgy?
Man,
Am I
you
less
just
cool?
you just lost 3/4 of your audience right there. I don't think anybody here appreciates the edgy shit.
Yeah. I see this. It did. It just dropped. It went from 54 to 49. And since I said edgy, that's amazing.
That's because I was off screen.
Daniel C with the super chat. Yeah, thank you, honey. Yeah, they just went back up to 51, so it must be you're back. Give him the eye candy show, sweetheart.
Yeah, okay.
Show him what I see.
Daniel C with the super chat says, "Talk about King Paimon a bit." Thanks.
All right, we can talk about King Paimon a little bit. What would you like to know? That's kind of like Daddy, tell me a story.
Yeah, Daniel, respond. Is there anything specific you want to know?
You know what? Let's do this. Everybody in this chat has had some experience with King Paimon, a little bit. I think Camilla maybe not as much, but she's definitely done a ritual or two with him. So
not as much.
Not as much. So let's round the bases a little bit, and we'll go with Camilla. Do you feel like you have enough to say about this, or no? Is it too personal or not enough to talk about?
I only did 1 or 2 with him. I really didn't do too many. Okay. It was more personal.
Okay. And Jay Sauber, thank you so much for the acknowledgement, the $4.99. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you so much. Flesh, we'll go with you first.
That's how most of mine are anyway.
Yeah.
We'll go with you then, because it sounds like Camilla doesn't have much that she wants to say about it, which I understand. Some of it's personal stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it's very personal.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I do anyway. It's more personal stuff. So.
And by the way, it should be Heracles. I like that way of saying it better. Anyway, keep going.
CJ Anger asked, "Is King Paimon a possible mask of Lucifer?"
Ooh,
I want to bookmark that because I want to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, I fucking love King Paimon. I also kind of hate King Paimon sometimes, but like in a loving way.
Well, I don't know, dude. Your hand was definitely something that you better like fucking choose what you feel about the dude, because that was quite an experience you had.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah, that one. Oh, fucking jeez. Yeah, I say I hate him because it's not like a legitimate hate. It's like that hate that you have for a friend of like, fucking, I love you, dude, but why are you like this sometimes? It's just like, could you stop answering every question with a fucking question? Like you speak in riddles. Can you just say you want to go to fucking Starbucks this morning or something? Like,
yeah, dude, King Paimon is like the worst. Like it's like having the worst girlfriend in the world. It's like, what would you like to eat tonight?
Yeah.
Why do you want to eat? Oh fuck! Oh no! Just answer the question, Claire.
It's that exact feeling, which is fucking great sometimes. Like, I've gotten a lot out of it. It's one of those things, like, for me, where you get a lot out of it just in that moment. It's like, oh man, why right now? Like, this isn't what I signed up for right now. I chose this, but oh man. Yeah, the difficulty is good in the long run. I still don't, the one that you were pointing to with the hand, I don't know if I want to talk too openly about that.
Sure.
Because of setting. But yeah, suffice to say that I was doing a thing with King Paimon, and I did some very stupid, I made some very dumb decisions with that on my personal end. It was like, should I do this? He's like, yeah, that'd be dope. And it very quickly turned
that sounds like the way he would talk too. He's very, like, he's totally like pop normal, right? Like he can like show up, he loves entertainment, right? Because one of the translations of his name, one of the translations of his name, some people had come up with was like tinkling or bells or something like that, the sound that bells make. So he's actually, if you look, he's into like entertainment stuff. He just really is. So he's like the type he's never done this, but I could totally imagine him walking through the portal with like a fucking pink feather boa on and fucking big ol' Elton John sunglasses and like
Looking
just
like David fucking Bowie.
being like David Bowie, and then like you turn around and he's like, now he looks like a goth emo dude. Then he looks like a Prince wearing like the curly toed sandals and stuff. I mean, it's like he would do that just to get a giggle. He's very jovial and jolly. Like he's very fun. Yeah. Unless you piss him off. I've known people that have not had good experiences with him, by the way, who've had like the hereditary version of King Paimon show up. I've heard of that. It's never happened to me. But all right, so go on. So yeah, King Paimon's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Very, very jovial and well-meaning. Like, you show respect, you get respect. But yeah, so suffice to say, I did some dumb stuff. He's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. or sorry, just not that he said it would be a good idea, just like, yeah, that seems like it would be cool. And then I did the dumb, and it very, very rapidly turned into me internally screaming like, why the fuck would I do that? Having to find a way to like figure the situation out very, very fast and getting physically injured for it. And just afterwards, just after I had, put out all those fires and everything, just like, oh, why the fuck would you say that was a good idea? I didn't say it would be a good idea. I just said that it would be dope. It's like I
mean, it's a good idea for the audience, not so good for the person doing it.
I'm paraphrasing all of this, of course.
Of course.
Well, why the fuck would you encourage me to do that then? It's like, hey, you did it. It's like, you learned something off of it, didn't you? Like, fuck, yes, I did. Jesus. So yeah,
that's like my dad when I was a kid. Like my mom would be like, "Oh, we gotta like block off the whatchamacallit, the electrical outlets," and my dad's like, "Let him do it once, he'll learn."
Yeah, and they do
until
they do it again when they're older.
But these days, if my dad had said that, someone would put him in like arrest. They'd probably arrest him or something, like child abuse. Like, no,
yeah, it was that exact type of fucking energy. And I won't get into all. I'm gonna keep it brief and mostly just throw that out there because some of the stuff I learned in the actual experience itself is personal, and I don't want to get into too much of it. But yeah, it was a very good teaching moment, and I got not even so much from that moment, but from how it affected my practice afterwards, because I couldn't do things the same way that I was doing, and I had to find a lot of. It kind of put me down a hole because I couldn't do things the way I was doing. And because of that, I had to find completely new methods. And that actually helped me out a fucking lot.
Did anything ever come of that project that you guys were doing? Is it still growing? Is it still?
Yeah, well, that was actually a part of the thing, is because of my personal holdups, because of what happened, because of that. I couldn't complete that whole prolonged ritual that I was doing. And so part of the teaching that came from that is, that was fucking unnecessary. Like the way I was doing it, the ritual aspect of all that, that's not necessary. I can do it in a completely different way. This is fine. So it ended up mixed, not what I was expecting completely, but seldomly is it ever exactly what you were thinking.
So okay, let's touch on this a little bit now. So before we even get into the Lucifer question, because there's actually some very good gnosis in there if you're ready for it. King Paimon is one of those spirits that everybody wants to claim some kind of ownership over, saying that they are actually this spirit in another form, that they're this, that, and 6 other things. Even I did this a little bit because when I asked him, he showed me visions of Atlantis and that he was one of the kings of Atlantis, one of the sons of Poseidon, if you will, one of the 10 kings of Atlantis, Aomon. And I did a video all about that. But I think that, some of this, in my current book that I'm writing, my former friend Andreas, who passed away in 2004, he had a word which I think he might have borrowed from Joseph Campbell, or an idea borrowed from Joseph Campbell, which was codified mythology. And the spirits will speak to us in codified visions and mythology. If they tell you something, sometimes what they're telling you shouldn't be taken literally. Just like if you read the book of Genesis, that the book of Genesis, if interpreted properly with metaphor and allegory, actually it's not a bad metaphysical thing. Okay, if you see the book of Genesis from the perspective that you are the God who said, "Let there be light," things might start to make more sense. Okay, but I don't have time to extrapolate all of that. My point is, the spirits will give us these allegories and metaphorical truths, and within them, there might be something of high value that's masquerading as a story about a serpent and an apple. Okay. And when King Paimon, if I ask him, who were you? Like, what is your origin story, basically? If he's telling me, like, I was a king of Atlantis, maybe that's true. Or maybe it's complete bullshit, but he wants me to pay attention to Atlantis for some reason, because maybe something to do with that speaks to the archetype that he is. Okay? And when I researched this idea that he could be a king of Atlantis, I came across the spectrum of Poseidon, Neptune, Ea, Enki, and Lucifer. All of these spirits have something in common. Okay? Now, a lot of people say, well, Lucifer is Venus, Lucifer is the sun, no question. But the planetary archetype of his personality that he is could be said to be influenced a lot by those things, but it's also very much Poseidon and Neptune. Because if you go back to Sumeria, Enki is actually the most like Lucifer of all of the different Sumerian gods. Enki and Ea become Poseidon and Neptune as we reach Greece and Rome later on. That the Proto-Indo-European thing that Eddie turned me on to. They sort of, they're not the same, but they kind of, and Indra as well is Jupiter, but you have these others, is what I'm saying. They're all part of this spectrum of the planets that are translated throughout these different cultures. So I realized that in the Christian current of Lucifer and all these monsters and demons, if Lucifer could be equated with Enki, well, who was the original, who was Atlas? Atlas was very connected to Poseidon. Look it up. And so Paimon could be seen, King Paimon could be extrapolated to be a child of Lucifer in that story. But is this really who King Paimon is? The problem we're having is we're reifying a character. We're reifying a character and saying King Paimon is the son of this spirit, even though spirits don't have children. Not in the way we're thinking anyway. Like, spirits don't fuck and then make babies. They don't have children like that. So what do we mean by a child of a spirit? What could we be talking about? Well, remember what I said about allegory and metaphor. What's a metaphor for a child? Metaphor for a child is an offspring. It's a thing that is both of you and something else. It's a derivative of you. So we could say that King Paimon is a derivative of Lucifer. So is King Paimon a mask of Lucifer? Okay, let's play with that for a moment. What is Lucifer a mask of? Is Lucifer a prime archetype? Is Lucifer a pure archetype? Or is there something even more pure about him that he's made up of multiple archetypes screwed together, and then we have a Lucifer? And if so, what are they? So is Lucifer a mask for a higher archetype, is what I'm asking. And I would say yes. And we can work our way back over and over and further and further and further till we find that all of these spirits, just like you, manifest archetypal ideas, platonic forms, if you will. We all manifest them. D.H. Thorne is at once a teacher, a rebel. I've been like a warrior, all these different things I've been and still have within the construct of who I am. So which one of those am I if I had to choose? I don't think I could. So let's try to be more intelligent. let's try to not be so superstitious. In fact, we should call it stupid stitious. Let's not be so stupid stitious. Let's stop being theistic, and I don't mean to insult theistic people. Let's stop being theistic, because theism is just a form of dogma at the end of the day. So let's, without saying theism is wrong, let's say theism is an expression of belief and leave it alone and not criticize it. But let's say we can do better than theism, because theism is the, well, it said so, therefore it is answer. It's the circular logic of the Bible said so. That's theism. So let's try to really untangle this a little bit. We're about to do non-duality land, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. Thorne, don't do it. Stay on the track.
I will power bottom you out of non-duality.
The secret word, power bottom. In fact, before I give the rest of my answer, let me remind everybody that I have a new T-shirt that is on sale on Teespring right now. If you go to Teespring, someone put the links and the magic word in the chat. If you go to my Teespring, you can actually go to the address and go directly to this. You can buy this shirt if you haven't already. Make sure you use the discount code, all caps, which is Magick with a K, ITB. Hopefully someone will post it in the chat in a moment. But go here and purchase this shirt to show all of your normie friends something that they're going to go, what? And all of your really insider Magick friends will be like, hey, this dude knows something. So, yeah, okay, anyway.
Was it Magick CK or just K?
Yeah, Magick with a K, Magick, Magick, ITB, all caps. In fact, I think I might still have it loaded. Let me see if I still have it loaded.
No, I got it now.
I got it. It's still loaded. Okay, so anyway, let me get back to my answer. So now that I've cleared my cache a little bit. So let's stop making it stories, right? Let's uncloud this. Let's untangle this bullshit. And the way I'm going to do this is by also equating you with those spirits. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to first say to you, I'm going to compare you to Superman. And I don't know if we did this last week, but we're doing it again if we did. Flesh, I'm going to treat you like the audience. Flesh, what's the difference between you and Superman?
Well, I'm much more handsome. I cannot lift buildings. I cannot jump. But no, I'm real, and Superman is just a comic book.
Ah, so you're real.
Yeah,
and Superman isn't. Okay,
Superman's
so what?
Never done anything in the world. I can pick this up. Superman can't pick this up.
You've heard this argument before. You're already. I think maybe it was during the live class that I did this argument.
It was during the live class and the last stream.
Okay, cool. So for those of you who were here last week, you can tune out for 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Yeah. So which one is more real, you or Superman? You say you because you've got.
I'm real.
You're real. What makes you real? Let's say, what are you? What makes you real? Prove you're real. What makes you real? We're not even gonna just short circuit that and say, well, we've already had this argument about I think therefore I am and all shit. Let's just, what if you were trying to prove to us what is real? What makes you more real than Superman? Let's examine this argument just for a moment. I know it's hypothetical because you already know the answer. But what makes you more real? Give me your argument why you're more real.
Well, and I'm going to quote you from earlier, really, all I can prove is that my own consciousness exists, and I can't prove anything else. The materialistic response I would give to that is Superman doesn't directly affect the world at all, whereas I can go out and I can push things, and I can do stuff that changes everybody else's reality.
Or so you think, anyway. You think that you're the one doing it, but really it's your body that's doing it, right? You're just kind of riding around in a meat puppet that you think acts on your behalf, right? Okay, so
but I control the strings of the meat puppet.
Okay, but let's be fair. Let's say I'm going to give you a little bit. I'm going to say, okay, so having a body is something you have that Superman doesn't have. He doesn't have a body. Okay. So what does that mean? Does that mean that having a body makes something real? Well, no, because we have real experiences that don't have bodies in them. So that doesn't make something real. Having a body doesn't make something real. Is a cloud less real because it doesn't have a body? It's just a collection of particles? Does that make it less real? No. No, it's still real. No. So it can't really be that you have a body that makes you real. So you'd say, well, okay, Superman's imaginary and I'm real. Okay. Well, let's define you. Flesh Priest, where do you begin and end?
From my toes to the top of my hair, I suppose.
From your toe. And what made you decide that? Who told you that?
I told me that by looking down at these slippers and then feeling the hair move against my scalp.
So you made a decision somewhere along the way that that's where you begin and end. And so you're it's kind of an ontology, a story basically, that you've decided is real.
Yeah, we could say so.
Okay. Doesn't Superman have a beginning and an ending as well? Doesn't he have a story about his origin and his demise and all these other things? Doesn't he have this is Superman and that is not Superman? Doesn't he have that? Can we distinguish Lex Luthor from Can we distinguish Lex Luthor from Superman?
Well, yeah, one's bald.
One's bald. Okay, yeah.
And
so
well, plus Superman's existence, because see, my existence started and it is still going. Superman's every time they throw up a new edition, Superman gets rewritten. His existence starts and ends again. Yeah.
Sort of like you when you go to visit a new cashier at a restaurant you've never been to before, and you kind of get reinvented every time you run into somebody. Kind of like the same thing.
Ooh,
so
I don't like that. I don't like that thought. That's a
Pale Horse says Superman is a character written by another man. Okay, aren't you a character written by another person too? Aren't you much the same way? So when the creator of Superman created Superman, did the creator of Superman create Superman out of a vacuum, or was he inspired by something? What was his inspirations? What inspired Superman? What were the archetypes that he used, knowingly or unknowingly? Where did Superman come from? Where does your imagination of Superman begin if you never imagined him before? Because I have to tell you, you can't imagine something you don't already know about. All you can do is combine elements of things that maybe aren't combined all the time for you. So you can combine something, like when you make music, there's only so many notes, and you know what all those notes are. So how do you make music? You combine them in a new way, and that new pattern makes it music now.
Yeah, what is that sentiment about great artists steal?
Yeah.
It's all just
exactly.
a remix.
Yeah, all the best art is a remix. Yeah. So what was Superman's origin, really? Well, we can compare him to a lot of characters in prior mythology. He's exactly like a Heracles or a Hercules because he's the son of an alien being, the son of a god, of a godlike being. And when he's here, he's got all this super strength. He's a hero, right? So there's a lot of similarity between him and other demigods of antiquity. So Superman's really just a retelling of this old idea, right? Oh no, I know, Pale Horse, you were just saying something. I don't think you're here to compete. I think you were just making a statement. Because I think you're playing along with the argument, I hope. It's a good thought experiment.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking you as being argumentative, bro. Unless you really are trying to be, in which case shut the fuck up. But if you're just trying to be cool, I believe me, I follow you, man.
I'm
Superman,
the one here to be argumentative.
Superman is equally real to you. In fact, I would argue Superman is more real than you are, because Superman actually has a greater impact upon the world than you ever will. And Superman's origin is really no different from yours. And Lolan Asin says something very wiser. He says, I've only experienced Superman on TV, and I've also only experienced you on YouTube. So You must both be characters. Yeah. We're all characters, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So, Flesh Priest is a character, but compared to Superman, you're a minor character. In fact, the only thing that makes you special is that you have a body that you're centered on. And Superman doesn't have a body that he's centered on. That's the only real difference. And I would actually argue that you traded a great deal of power over the universe to be embodied. By becoming embodied, you're limited to what your body can do. Whereas Superman actually gets all of our bodies to live in. He influences all of us all the time. How many kids have put on a red cape and jumped off their couch going, ba ba ba, to be Superman? How many people somewhere in their life were inspired to do a heroic act because they saw Superman as a kid? How many people use the lessons in an episode of a Superman comic or something to inform them about morality or something important? So the character of Superman has had a great deal of effect on them. And now someone is going to be very offended when I say this. If this is true, what is the difference between King Paimon, you, and Superman? Somebody who's really theistic is going to get really butthurt when I say King Paimon is exactly the same as Superman. Because they still don't realize that Superman and you, the person you think you are pretty much equal in validity. The person you think you are is just as essentially fake as Superman. So since you're all fake, and I would argue that those stories are stronger than your story by a lot. You see where I'm coming from yet? You see what I'm getting at? So what are they then? So if I say they're just stories, someone's going to hear me say this and say, Thorne, I thought you were a magician. I thought you were a mystic. I thought you believed in spirits. I do. It's just I don't define them as these theistic boogeymen. As these, I don't try to reify them as something material. They have a materiality to them, but the materiality they have is non-local. Their spirit is residing within the collective consciousness of, if I say humanity, that's not fair, because I think it's not just humanity. I think when we say that, it sounds a little too materialistic to say, and people get bent out of shape because they say, no, King Paimon's independent of us, I just know it. The problem with that is we want to have people and spirits be separate from us because it validates our ego that much more. For me to say I am not King Paimon makes my ego that much more potent because there's a separation there. CJ Anger makes a great point. The moment you define spirits as literal beings outside of nature, you must demonstrate there is something outside of nature, which, by the way, is impossible. Even if it was true, it would be impossible because being outside of nature by definition means it cannot interact with nature, and therefore you cannot prove it. This is why I love pointing out that the materialistic skeptics, the what's his name, Richard Dawkins type people who will, debunk everything spiritual. Do you know what they debunk? They debunk the thing that can't be true. We already know it can't be true. I already know that the rational laws of reality that exist in the Maya delusion that I experience are things that I'm not going to let bend. I know that I cannot right now say a magic word and lift up off this chair and fly around my living room and prove it to all of you. I know I can't do that. That doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means I know I can't do that. And so what do the scientists do? They will pose a test for you. They will say, okay, if magic's real, then you must, or ESP, we'll keep it simple. We'll make it ESP, okay? They'll make a test for you where there's no way you could know something, expecting you to have a way of knowing that is somehow going to break the laws of nature to do it. Because they know that can't be done. But magic works within the laws of nature. Magic doesn't bend or break them. It'll appear that way if you don't know the whole detail of the story. If you see something happen and you don't see why, of course it's going to seem magical in the moment. This is why I'm so careful whenever I talk about a spirit manifesting something in my environment, like a poltergeist. I'm always very quick to tell you what I think caused it. That the knocking in the wall was probably a rat, but it happened at the moment that I needed it to happen. Right? I don't sit there and say magic made it happen. I don't sit there and say the spirit. I don't sit there and look at the smoke and say the spirit caused the smoke to manifest a shape. I don't think that's what happened at all. I think the shape is imagined by me. I see it and I go, that looks a little bit like King Paimon's sigil right now. Oh shit, King Paimon's here. And so the skeptics is going, yeah, see, it's all in your head. And I go, all in my head does not mean it's not real. It just means that it doesn't have a material factor the way you want it to have. But it has every bit the effect on me and my reality that you think it should. It's a mind fuck. It's a really big mind fuck. So what is King Paimon then? If King Paimon is a story or an idea or one of these things, does that mean he's just? See, this is what people get into. I have the critics I have for when I say this, they get offended because I say that and they think I'm saying that that somehow diminishes what King Paimon is to call him a story. If that's how you think, then wait till you find out you're just a story too. Oh boy, are you going to be in for a rude awakening, especially if you're on the left-hand path where you think your ego is God. Oh boy, are you going to have a good time. And that's just one interpretation of left-hand path. There's actually the one that I use, which is not my ego is God. It's that I am God. My ego is just a mask that I wear. So when we're asking ourselves, who's King Paimon's daddy? When we're asking who's King Paimon in other cultures, when we're asking those questions, we're actually doing King Paimon a disservice. It is fair to say that there's archetypes that are shared or might be the daddy archetype of them all, but to say that that is who they are, let me put it to you this way. If you found out that King Paimon was a mask for Lucifer, why would you talk to King Paimon and not Lucifer? How about that as the answer? If you found out that King Paimon was a mask of Lucifer, as the question was originally posed, why would you talk to anyone but Lucifer? Why would you go to anywhere but the horse's mouth? If Flesh Priest was hosting a show and everything he said was what I say, wouldn't you rather ask me the question than Flesh Priest? Wouldn't you rather have it direct from me? So why bother with King Paimon at all?
You know, I kind of want to approach this from like a low level perspective too, because whenever I think there's a good place for is this spirit a mask of that spirit and everything. I personally don't like it, and I don't want to come across as saying like it's stupid and don't do that to people. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like it's kind of like if you what would be a fucking I can think of lots of examples off the top of my head, but none that I necessarily. It'd be like meeting somebody one place and then running into them at a bar later and they're dressed in drag or something, and just like, is this that same person? Like, it doesn't matter. Just have fun with this person here. Or like also a masquerade. There we go. More people could probably connect to that. It's like going to
Also
a masquerade and it's like, is that actually Gary from accounting? It doesn't fucking matter. You're at a masquerade. This is one person. Gary at accounting is another.
Yep. CJ Anger, actually, by saying it so plainly, it's probably going to get lost on people. He says spirit communion is a sort of imaginary LARPing to receive information, manifest change. Not an unfair comment. I think if I say that, though, people will misunderstand because we say LARP and we go, oh, so you're just faking it all. Everything you do is fake, guys. Every moment that you think you're an original thing, you're fake. Okay, I promise you this. I don't know how many people have a zero filter, but I don't think they exist, right? Everybody puts a filter on what's going on behind their mind somewhere. We all wear clothes, okay? And the handful of people that are insane enough to not be that way, we got a problem with them, right? So you're all fake. Every single one of you is fake. You're all LARPing right now. Every single one of you with your little names and your identities and trying to act like you're smart like I'm doing right now because this is just an act for me. It's all bullshit, guys. So every moment of this is an act in a game and bullshit. Here's my nihilistic side, Eddie. You happy? Everything you're doing right now is a total state of bullshittery that you're doing right now. You're LARPing right now. Flesh Priest, are you LARPing right now? Is this who you really are? Are you really a dude who sits around in blue light all day and calls himself Flesh Priest, or is this an act?
Oh, this is absolutely a manifestation. This is absolutely based on reality, but certainly a part of my character that I put on for this. Right. So you think I show up to work like this?
So we're LARPing, we're live action role playing a spirit, and somehow, synchronistically, truth emerges in that act. Because we're embracing, Eddie says it, embrace the bullshit. We're embracing the bullshit. When you embrace the bullshit knowingly, so superstition is embracing the bullshit but not knowing that it's bullshit. Magic, in the way we're talking, is embracing the bullshit knowingly and saying, it's all bullshit. And I can play with it like clay. I can mold that bullshit to be whatever I want it to be. It stinks, but it's cool. All right, bad analogy, but you know what I'm saying. All right, so back to the point.
We are but the dung beetle.
So why talk to King Paimon and not Lucifer? And somebody, I don't remember who, maybe it's Cole Smith, I forget who it was. Someone said, well, what if it's Lucifer's way of talking to us? Okay, that's assuming that Lucifer relies upon King Paimon. And I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works at all. So there are things that Lucifer and King Paimon have in common. One could say symbolically they're both sort of solar deities. They both have this brightness about them. They're both, they're both very proud, but in a different way. Lucifer always shows himself to me as a sullen kind of, he's proud of himself, but he looks at the world like, you all are idiots. Like you fucking cast me out and I'm down here freer than all of you motherfuckers. And he's not resentful, but he's got that rebellious nature about him, right? He's like a fucking emo goth girl, teen girl, like an emo teen goth girl, like all the time. Whereas King Paimon is very jovial and happy and very liberated. So in a way, King Paimon is like the happy side of Lucifer, one could say. Like, I get that. But to say that they're the same thing... Flesh, are you and I the same... Are you and I might be the same consciousness, but is Flesh... Flesh is gone. Camilla, we might be the same consciousness, but are we the same?
No.
No, there's a difference between us, right?
Oh, there's a very big difference between us.
I mean, girls have a... And men have
vagina.
Right, there's a difference, but it's not...
Penis.
But it's not just that.
Kindergarten cup.
Okay. So in the same sense that you and I are the same consciousness, but we manifest a different individual distinction, Lucifer and King Paimon could be the same in that way. But I think that's going too far. I think that's going a little too far with the analogy. Let's keep playing with the analogy the way we're saying it. Is Lucifer and King Paimon the same? No, they're not.
No.
There's really nothing that's the same about them. However, they're both masks for something, just like we're masks for something. DH Thorne is a mask for a mask for a mask for a mask. And if I take all those masks off, I get to the universal state of knowing that I'm always talking about. Well, if I take the mask off of King Paimon and Lucifer and all of these spirits, far enough back there is the universal state of knowing, the same one that I am. So really, when we're asking who's King Paimon, and we're trying to work our way back in history, we can actually become muddied, because at some point, the spirit we start with as King Paimon and the spirit we end up with as his source are so alien from each other, we can't say they're the same anymore. Because that's not how this works. So I think I'm because I had too much caffeine, I think I'm having a hard time articulating what I'm trying to say. But
no, it's making sense. It's, you know, it's kind of like the arms of an octopus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the all is the body, like the head of the octopus, and we are the tentacles.
Yeah, a lot like that. And so, if I say that Lucifer and King Paimon are not the same, I don't mean that they're not masks for the same consciousness. What I mean is that we shouldn't confuse their stories as real things. But we shouldn't confuse our own story for a real thing either. If we understand that these spirits are masks for the same consciousness, that we are masks for the same consciousness, we start to ask ourselves, then what is a mask? Is a better question. What is a mask? And that's a much better question. Instead of saying, who's King Paimon, what is a mask in the first place? And answering that question, we can talk about the Atman again. We can talk about how consciousness simplifies itself down into a concept of self. We could do that again. We could go through that whole conversation again. But let's say a mask is the fleshing out of a much simpler and universal idea. So the mask is what covers the archetype or collection of archetypes that serves as the bones of the character. So King Paimon, we see on him a whole fleshing out of a character. He rides a dromedary. He's jovial. He asks a lot of questions. He likes to be called king and doesn't like when you forget it. He demands respect, but only because he wants to respect you as an equal. And if you don't respect him as an equal, he's not going to respect you as one. He's the very definition of namaste in the infernal sense. He's like, motherfucker, I am divine. And if you don't know that I'm divine, that means you don't know you're divine. And if you don't know that you're divine, I'm not giving you respect. So these are like features of who he is. These are the, so what do each one of those things symbolize? Well, the idea that he rides a dromedary, very weak symbolism, but it does mean something. And it meant something more to the people of the Middle Ages who first conceptualized this being. Or whenever it was in history when he first came out. Whatever his real origin was, story-wise, the camel meant something. The idea that he is this prince, this dude living in some sort of an Arabian style, though he's not Arabic from my understanding. This kind of weird, picture of him is all symbolic. There's symbols in there. And a lot of it's lost on us because we've lost the connection. Kind of like, people, when they first came up with Superman, the symbols they used for Superman made a lot of sense to the people of the time. A lot of people looking at Superman in the 40s and 20s or whatever, I don't remember when Superman first was invented, but I think he became popular like the 30s and 40s, if I remember correctly. And a lot of people, he was originally invented to fight the Nazis, or not invented for that, but he was used for that for sure. And a lot of his symbolism was red, white, and blue, but it wasn't, it was yellow, and also the colors have symbolism. All of these things have symbolism, that was very unique to the creation of him. Symbolism that's been lost on us today. Why does Superman dress the way he does? I don't know. It looks cool. That's not an answer. So, King Paimon is a mask for an archetype 2 or 3. We've already declared some of his archetypes. He's a solar deity, which means he's bright and he's very expressive and he's very open and out, and he is good with anything that the solar deity is also good with divination, because the light lets us see. The oracles of Delphi, the Apollo, the oracles of Apollo, the sun god, okay? He's got a touch of Venus in there. He's very much about beauty and art and the things related to those loving things, those beauty things. But he's also jovial. He's got a little bit of Zeus and a little bit of Jupiter energy going on. He's all about his opulence and his power. And he's a king, and he's one of the biggest kings. In fact, if you look in the Ars Goetia and the associated books surrounding him, he's got more legions than even some of the cardinal. In fact, people have made him a cardinal. Some people say he's one of the cardinal kings of the Goetia. So he's way up there. He's second. He's not second, but he is the most loyal to Lucifer. So it is written in the Goetia. What does that even mean? How can you be loyal to Lucifer? Lucifer, who's so independent that he doesn't even want your damn loyalty.
I find it funny too, because when you're flipping through the Ars Goetia, it's a paragraph, and then King Paimon is the first one you get to, where it's just like, okay, let's really go ham writing about him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This guy is important.
I mean, when I do my videos and I do my stuff, there's a handful of spirits that if I do a video about them, I'm going to get a lot more views than if I do it about anybody else. And King Paimon might be the most, easily top 3. He's easily one of the top 3 spirits I could do a video about. Some days I can't tell whether Lucifer is going to be more popular, Belial, or King Paimon. Everybody wants to know about Belial, King Paimon, Lucifer, Satan, all of those things, right? So the fact that I haven't made videos about them in a while should tell you I'm not really just doing this for the clicks. So I'm kind of going all over the place, but what I'm trying to get at is there is a nougat of truth within King Paimon that is the bones upon which all of these stories we tell about him hang. The bones of King Paimon are the archetypes that he is manifest from. And he is a manifestation of universal consciousness just like you are. But the story that surrounds him has the origin in the archetypes that matter. Now, I want to touch on one more thing because I've got a video coming out. I don't know if I'm going to release it tomorrow or this weekend. It's ready to go, but I want to give it a few days from my live stream. And it's about sort of understanding that these spirits that we work with, there's a tendency for demonolators and people on the left-hand path to treat spirits as these noble, benign, loving, sweet, caring beings that basically take the place of Yahweh. Because a lot of people come from a right-hand tradition and they need a loving creator God to protect them. And so they go looking for these demons because at first they're edgy, badass, and cool. And they go to them, they're all scary at first, but then they get to know them like, no, King Paimon is one of the sweetest beings that ever lived. Oh, he's so gentle and generous. I love him. I'm no different because I've had a lot of good experiences with him. But then I'm reminded, no, wait a minute. These spirits are absolutely sinister. To say that they're these love and light filaments of beauty and love, robs them immediately of what attracts us to them. I love the hereditary version of King Paimon. I know that's heretical to a lot of people who love King Paimon. Who do you think inspired that? Do you think it was King Paimon or somebody else? King Paimon inspired that because he wanted the attention. He loved the idea of that movie. Loved it. He didn't care that it was, he's not insulted by the fact that they shaped him into a demon. He doesn't care. He's like, no, you know how many people are coming to know me because of that movie? He fucking loves Hereditary.
Right. You can't look up King Paimon on Google without the first 3 pages all being about Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think VK, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but he claims that one of the things in there was one of his chants, which may be true, which is pretty cool for him, I guess. Hopefully it is true. Hope he gets out there and if it's true that he freaking dings him for $1 or $2. I guess he couldn't somehow, but because they used supposedly one of his chants, by the way. So I don't know. I would hope that if that's true, he went after them a little bit. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he doesn't care. But yeah. So King Paimon is loving the fact that he was in a movie, loving it. He doesn't care if it's. How many people saw Hereditary and got offended? And if you got offended by Hereditary, what made you want to work with demons in the first place? Right? Did you want to work with demons because they were beautiful and sweet? Or did you go, it scares the shit out of Christians because they're a little fucking scary, let's be honest. Right? So this idea that... Go ahead.
I think that, whitewashing away some of the... I'll say sinister for lack of a better term. Some of the sinister aspects of the spirit, people are not all about one thing. You can meet a guy on the street who is the biggest fucking douchebag ever. That guy's probably also really loving to his family. We're not all about one thing, and they shouldn't be either. To whitewash all of that away is stripping them of that completeness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I would say that, what makes these spirits divine, they're diabolically divine. They're infernal divine. They are not love and light divine. Okay? There's enough love and light divine spirits if you want them. And there's nothing wrong with going to them. I was having a conversation with one of my students the other day. Fucking cool dude, love him to death. And I was like, at some point, I'm going to have to reapproach Yahweh and start working with him again. But not as a Christian. Treating him as another demon just like any other. Just when I say demon, I mean like daemon. I mean the traditional word in that sense. Treat him like another god to work with. Not as a, heavenly father above us all. No. Because he's just as dark and sinister as all the others if you really read the Bible. That motherfucker does some evil fucking shit.
Yeah.
So how the hell could I look at Yahweh and go, oh, he's just so much better? No. He's just very jealous. He's actually a lot more like Ashmadeva than he would like to admit. He's very jealous. That's the danger of working with Yahweh. You've got to be very careful. You need your circles up because he's going to very much be like, you're mine. You must worship only me. No. I'm not worshiping anybody, motherfucker. Nope. And if you don't want to help me, fine. You have your little heaven over there. That's great. But I'm not going to treat Yahweh as some kind of all-seeing, all-knowing, divine God of gods. No. He's exquisitely powerful because of how many people believe in him. The egregore of Yahweh beats the shit out of Superman any day. And the Yahweh of Jesus equally so. Just most one-sided spiritual fight you're ever going to see. But it's still the same thing. And Angramanu says, is it Yahweh or a changeling imposter spirit posing as Yahweh? I think that we're reifying spirits too much when we ask that question. They do exist. I mean, I'm not saying that imposters don't happen, but I'm saying let's not reify them so much that we say that there is a true Yahweh and a false Yahweh. Maybe that's another thing we have to make clear. Is if we reify them so much to say that there's a true version and a false version, What we're really saying is there is Superman and then a fanfic of Superman. There's canon Superman and then non-canon Superman. Canon Yahweh is this way, non-canon Yahweh is another way. Canon King Paimon is a certain way. And you know how we can tell that it's canon? I'm going to tell you guys a little insider secret. When we say King Paimon must be addressed as king, when we say he likes to ask questions, a lot of that has come from something someone told us about him or we read about him. And when we go talk to him, that manifests because we expect it. If you, with no knowledge of King Paimon whatsoever, just what's in the Goetia, go light a candle to him and start talking to him, some of that will manifest for you possibly. And that's always amazing when it does, because it does kind of validate it for everybody. But there's no guarantee that's what you're going to see. So if you experience a being that calls itself King Paimon, and he's not really inquisitive, and he's not insisting you call him king, does that mean that you didn't talk to King Paimon, but I did? No. What it means is that I talked to my King Paimon, and you talked to yours. That's all it means. You can call a spirit whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. They're just words. If you like calling a shadowy being that appears out of the floor and says, kill your family for all kinds of magic powers, if you want to call that King Paimon or an imposter, whatever. Maybe I'm going a little too far. Maybe I'm going a little too far into an area where a lot of people won't want to follow me. Maybe a lot of people don't want to follow me here because you're theistic at heart. Maybe a lot of you want King Paimon to be a theistic being that is outside of time and space, that has an identity that is absolute and perfect. Well, I challenge you to be any one of those ideals yourself. When you can do it, let me know. We're all playing a game with ourselves. When I tell you King Paimon likes to be addressed as king, that's actually part of the story. That's part of the archetype shining through. That's the archetype of a little bit of pride. Not necessarily malevolent pride, but there's a little bit of pride there. Why would he care if you call him king or not, unless he's a little prideful? Right? Why would he care? If he wasn't proud of it, why would he care? So we tell the story of he likes to be called king because it perpetuates the pride element of his archetype. Those people who encounter King Paimon without a prideful element, I question it then. That's when I would question it. If it doesn't manifest as call me king, maybe it manifests because something else. I don't know. Remember when I said the shadow form appearing out of the floor? Well, maybe as a shadow form, it's very full of itself and dominant. And there's its pride element. So this prideful element of call me king. But then it gets reciprocated. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That there's an element of enlightened pride going on, which is a very Luciferian thing. The Luciferian perspective of pride is that pride within the proper context is enlightened. Pride within the context of insecurity is weakness. So if you're proud because you're insecure, if the real source of your pride is ignorance and insecurity, then that pride is a sin. On the other hand, if your pride is born out of, I've accomplished this, and my accomplishment doesn't mean I'm better than you, but it means that this accomplishment means I'm in a position to really help you and help myself in the process. If there is this namaste element in the pride, then pride is a beautiful thing to feel, and there's nothing wrong with it. Pride becomes a superpower. In other words, I am proud as fuck of my wife's progress making mirrors and all that shit. And I like to point out that the design overall was mine originally, but she took it and ran with it. So I'm proud as fuck of her for taking that idea and then making it her own and making it awesome.
And every time
and every time she succeeds, I succeed. And I feel more proud about that. Do I think I'm better than my wife, though? Maybe I'm better at drawing. Maybe I'm better at speaking. Maybe, but that doesn't mean I'm better than my wife. So King Paimon saying, call me king, is just a way of expressing that element of pride. And the fact that he reciprocates and would be willing to call you king in return, which he might do. He's done that to me. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm always saying, approach these as a king yourself. You go to King Paimon as if you are king. When you do that, he will treat you as king. That is gorgeous, by the way, sweetie. Don't you dare sell that. That is mine.
No, this is ours.
No, mine. It is mine. It is your gift to me for my birthday. I want it.
Ours.
Oh my God. That is like a $500
amazing.
mirror. Holy shit, sweetie. Is it done?
This one is done. I finished the tentacles on it. This is the eye.
Holy fuck. Let me blow that up on the screen.
Yeah.
Honestly, if this one were to sell, I'd probably have to charge about $500 for it because of how much time it took and how much I put into it.
No, for real. That's a $400 or $500 mirror. Holy shit.
Yeah, that looks fucking amazing.
Yeah. I painted all the lines by hand in the...
I was literally just about to ask that.
Everything was painted by hand.
I'm just going to tell you...
Tiny little brush work in there. If I could see the camera, it would help. There you go. Yeah.
How much would you guys in the audience pay for that fucking thing? Holy shit. But, no, for real, honey, my 100-plus-year-old antique mirror is actually going to go in the garbage compared to that. Like that, I can't wait to use that thing. I really can't wait. Please be careful. Don't let that fall. It looks like it's going to fall any second.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I thought maybe I could prop it, but...
Yeah, don't risk it.
Nah.
That thing is precious. Holy shit.
Plus it's got clay, so I don't know how durable that's going to be.
Behemoth X, my friend, my brother, I am really happy to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. I know you've been moving, so I haven't felt offended. I'm really happy to see you, man. Thank you for showing. Congratulations on 20,000.
Congratulations.
Watching that video was awesome. Seeing all those big people talking to you, dude. I'm so fucking proud. Because you know why? When I first met you on Facebook, you, I think, had just about reached 5,000 not long after I met you. 5,000 subs. You have now quadrupled yourself in the time that I met you, about not quite 2 years ago. Maybe actually about 2 years ago. And I'm so fucking proud of you. Like, if anybody deserves the respect and attention that they're getting, you definitely do. Like, I'm by the seat of my pants being an asshole, just saying what I think. You are an artist, dude. I am so proud of you. And thank you for coming and watching our show and giving us the respect and love and support and everything you've ever done just to hang out with us. And I really hope that now that you're in your new house, that we can get you on as a guest on my show, or even just do a pre-recorded conversation, because I'd love, I think when we chat, we go off the rails in goofy land about heavy metal and stuff. I want to just talk to you as a practitioner and really talk about the deep shit, because I think that's where we'd really fucking connect, brother. And I'm really happy for you. And I can't wait to see what your new ritual chamber looks like. In all honesty, like when I watched your video about, I forget the exact title. I think it was like Blood Pact New Beginning. When you told that story about the attached spirit, I was watching that like, oh, I hope he's not going to say he like banished it or something. And when you said you invited it to come with you, I'm like, this motherfucker is a master sorcerer by doing that.
Badass.
Because to me, that is something that only someone who has a soul of it, that enlightened soul, would do. You didn't see that spirit as a danger, even if it was dangerous. You said, no, come with me. Come with me. Follow me to my new home. I want you there. And I'm like, dude, whoa, like that blew me away. So many people are like, well, here's how you cleanse it. Here's how you banish it. You're like, come with me. Attach yourself to one of my candlesticks or something. Holy fuck, dude. That was really moving. And I'm just proud to know you, man. And the bigger you get, the more of of a really good influence you have on what we do, because you give what we do. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Thorne, you kind of make what we do sound less crazy," but what you do doesn't just normalize what you do; you humanize it. Like, you take what we do and you make it a valid theurgistic practice of working with spirits that are maybe less common, maybe less well loved by society. And you don't just find their good side; you fucking find what they are within us, and you bring it forward, and you show the human quality of that, and you show how they've helped you. And it's really powerful shit. And I wish I got more time to watch your stuff more often, because, like, you're one of the few occultists I'd probably watch all the time if I really had the energy to. I don't, you know, it's kind of like with reading books. I don't read enough books because I'm too busy trying to do my own thing. So I really don't watch your stuff enough. But anyway, I know you also have some humility. You don't necessarily need me to butter you up, but I feel like you deserve it, because you don't ask for nothing. You just, you know, you just do things. You just do what you think does for people. So you're up there, man. You know, I really can't wait till we get a chance to talk someday, man. That would be a fucking blast. All right, back onto my own gravy train of ego. Now that I purged a little bit of my love feelings, let me go back to being about me again. So I think we talked about King Paimon enough, though, right, guys? I don't know. What do you guys think? Have I done King Paimon? Is he ground into the ground? Nobody cares about him now?
I wouldn't say that. He's always going to have his lovers. But no, we've talked a lot about King Paimon.
King Paimon is like the beginner spirit.
I think we sated their appetite.
I think so. I mean, King Paimon is the beginner spirit. I really think that. You know, I don't think you should start with him, though. I really think you should start with someone like Lucifer or Satan as your first, you know, your first power bottom. Hey, power bottom! Hey, everybody! If you want to know what power bottom means, tune back in the beginning of the broadcast. We've released a new T-shirt on Teespring, which is my Magic is Within You T-shirt, which is based upon the infamous story of Aleister Crowley in the desert with Victor Neuburg. And this shirt will tell everyone you know the truth of where magic comes from, that it is stored in the butt, and that Crowley is an epic power bottom and also an epic occultist. So wear this shirt to know that you're in the in crowd. You know what the fuck is going on, and make me proud and help me get through this month. It's also my birthday this month. I don't like to tell people that much, but I'm obviously an Aries, right? So if I said March or April was my birthday, nobody would be shocked, right? So sometime in March or April, I will be 44 within the next, we'll say, within the next 40 days, I'll be 44 years old. So
You're still as hot as ever.
I'm still as hot as all motherfucking ever. So check that out. If you need to find it, someone will put up the link in a moment to the actual T-shirt. And if you do want to buy it, make sure you use the promo code Magick ITB before you hit the confirm button, so you can actually buy it and get 10% off, especially since this is the first run. This way, if there's a problem, I don't feel so guilty if, like, somehow the image is off center or something. This shirt is the robe. Sure. Dude, Eddie, I think I like that idea. If we start an order, that is going to be the unofficial shirt that you're supposed to wear to all the meetings when we're not wearing robes. Even if you just wear it for a second and take it off, you got to wear it there.
You got to wear it.
You got to wear it. So beautiful put, beautiful, beautiful. Eddie is definitely, like, working his way up to be one of our spokesmen. Like, I really like Eddie's sense of humor. He really gets he gets non-duality very well, and he gets our humor really well. And he's just nerdy enough that he actually makes me feel like I don't know things, and I actually need him to explain things once in a while. So, Eddie, big kudos to you, brother.
Beyond just Magic, I know that very well. Live streams of him just talking so around me about.
You're roboting really bad, and you're super tiny once again.
Yeah, his bandwidth must have took a shit, so it'll grow again. I'm not going to grow him up again. I'm going to leave him tiny, because when I do that, he gets too big, and then I got to shrink him again.
Oh, it's so cute how small he is.
Necro Nikki wants a version. Necro Nikki wants a version with you on the shirt, Flesh.
Ooh.
I'll do that.
If you create it, I'll host it up there, and I'll tell people that I give you money, and they'll believe it.
I'm only going to do it, though, if the shirt has me with the Nicki Minaj Anaconda pose.
Hey, if you just use some show. Just be careful though, because
Oh no.
actually, you know which one I still haven't shopped of you, but unfortunately, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But unfortunately, the invading Area 51 joke is over, so I kind of missed the window.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I kind of missed the window for this. Let me find it here.
I'll show you all where the magic is hidden.
I bet you will. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Hope somebody fucking screen grabbed that shit. I gotta find like a good empty. Nope, we're gonna use that later. Don't let me forget the "that's all folks" joke later. Someone made us a beautiful
Okay.
meme, and I keep forgetting to use it.
Now I'm
Wait,
worried.
what?
What fucking
happened?
picture are you talking about shopping me?
Well, don't be too pissed off.
That one. Yeah, do it. Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
the glory.
Oh, the fucking Barbasol
The
all over my
Barbasol.
nipples.
That's what makes it.
Oh boy, this is going on YouTube now.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I said this is a mask based on the reality of who I am? This is actually what I'm like day to day.
Oh yeah. I may have to rotate it around because it's showing it's rotated, so we'll see when it pops up. I think I got it right though. It's either upside down or the right way. Here we go. Boom. Oh, it's got to be up top, guys. It's got to be up top.
Now I do
So-
have a question for you.
I want to shop this so that you're running away from something.
I do have a question for you, Fleshy. Do you still have all those varieties of Barbasol?
My Barbasol stash has gotten a little low, but I am working on building up my my liquor cabinet again.
Ah.
Hey, Flesh, could you make your new "we'll be right back" thing, or do you want me to do it? Like, I'll cut you out, and
Oh
I'll put
my fucking god, yeah.
I'll put a caption. "I'll be right back," and it'll be you running the fuck away from like the stream, like fuck this shit, I'm out.
Nice.
Oh fuck yeah! Oh, that's such a great idea. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
All right, cool. I mean, I'll do it if you can't. Just let me know.
Oh no!
But you seem to be
I
getting
got
better
the
with that
skills.
stuff. So, you know what? I just realized I have a candle here.
Hey, you know what? We were talking about Eddie, and now like an hour and a half later, do you want to bring him on?
Nah, we're getting close to hanging up. Otherwise, I would, because we'll just end up getting in a whole new bag of worms with him on, and yeah. But you know what? We'll have to schedule him for because I know he likes coming on as like a backup, and I just, I think what we're gonna do is we'll see if I can do it, but tentatively right now, I'm announcing that next week, unless something bad happens, I'm gonna try to have that phone number set up for next week. So,
Okay.
no promise, but I'm gonna try. So if I can get that set up in time for next week, we'll use that next week, and we'll really do phone calls. That way, it can actually be phone calls.
Get that true fucking coast to coast grainy quality to
Right?
the call-ins.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually like to get another call where people tell us about ritual experiences they've had. And in fact, I don't know
I
if
would
Behemoth
love
is
that.
still listening. Behemoth X, if you're still listening, brother, if you don't have the best internet, but your phone works, when I get that working, if you ever want to call in, dude, you can call in that way. You don't have to worry about video. We can just take your beautiful voice on here and just fucking have you talking, bro. And we'll just talk to you. So just a thought. I'll message you in case you're not. I'm going to bother him. I'm going to follow him around like on Facebook. We don't talk that much on Facebook lately, so I'm going to
Just
bother him.
stalker shit.
I'm going to stalk his ass for a little bit.
Stalk his ass.
Like teach me, great sir. Teach me. So, all right.
I really, really would love to have people like. I love being able to answer questions and all of that, but I really want to hear stories like some of the early ones we had about like the Dog Man and stuff like that. I love hearing people's experiences.
I think we really should do that. I mean, I love the coast to coast theme. I love the way they do that shit. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are practitioners, have some weird experiences that you'd like to talk about. So
Yeah,
I'd
we
like
don't
to
even
get
need
into
to
that.
say your name if you don't want to. You can stay anonymous.
Yeah, just be like, "Oh, I'm Billy Bob from the northwest sector of Mianus," and like just be done with it. You can be goofy with us. And of course, if you do call in for that reason, expect me to demystify it by being skeptical of everything you tell me, but I'll be respectful about it. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Art Bell, east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies. Yeah. Well, I guess we're approaching near the end of our stream time. So let's do a buy our crap segment. For those of you who are still here, we want to start by thanking you for showing up. And I really want to thank you guys for getting me to 4,000 subs. It's a great achievement for me. You know, when I first started out messing around with YouTube like 8 years ago, I was like really pissed off because no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get past like 3 or 4 subs. You know what I mean? And I had managed to get to like 200 or 300 doing something else, and I gave up on it because it just wasn't working for me. And now, like, this is like not my full-time job, but it's absolutely a big part of my full-time job. And even though I don't really make a lot of money on the YouTube part, it's kind of like the most fun part. It's the part that I like doing the most. Especially these live streams are fun. Like, to me, this is almost as much fun as playing video games with all these people that come on. It's right up there, like almost as fun. So it's also giving me an excuse to get out of my comfort zone and talk to people. Talking to Flesh is like right when we talk, except for this and video game nights, and we don't do that every night. So it's like my way of socializing is doing this. So if I seem a little bit over talkative, it's just like, Flesh, you can tell everybody. Unless you get me going on a subject, how talkative am I?
Not all that much.
In fact, when we're in private, when it's just the 3 of us, who talks the most?
You and Flesh.
Me.
You and Flesh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you and then Flesh. It's usually you, and he's reacting to you. So
I'm a reactor.
He's reactor Flesh. Flesh the reactor.
Flesh
I know
reactive.
people find that hard to believe, but I'm actually way more mellow than I
He's
act.
very quiet.
I'm on camera, so I'm like, you know, what do they call that? Like, I'm on stage right now. I'm performing for all you guys. I'm being a comedian, right?
This is the theater.
Yeah. This is the character. This isn't who I really am. So just keep that in mind in case you're ever wondering, is Thorne like this all the time? No, I'm fucking not. I'm actually really lit. If you guys could see me in my everyday life, you'd be like, man, this motherfucker says nothing. And that's because all day I'm in my own head thinking about what I'm talking about on Thursdays. Like you can ask my wife, what do I watch on YouTube all day? 80% of it is studying these topics and non-duality and magic and science.
And it's not just when you're on the computer, it's when you're in the shower and when you're waking up in the morning from sleep and, you know, laying in bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wake up, and if I have to deal with anything,
right to it.
Yeah. I'm pretty much eat, sleep, and breathe this subject. So, the Pale Horse says, "Shut up, Thorne." No, never. I will only talk louder because you said that. I will only be contrarian.
I will be the adversary.
Yes, even when it's not really to do so. No, for real. Oh man. For real. So, but in all honesty, like, you know, I really thank you guys for putting up with my quirks and for enjoying my work because, oh, nice. That's going to be another pretty one. Because when I'm doing this stuff, I feel like I'm living my dream, and I look to the future and see, where am I going to be in 5 years, right? Am I going to have 100,000 subs? I mean, according to Social Blade, I will. When I have 100,000 subs, it's going to be great. It's really going to be great. But you know what's going to be great? Not the 100,000 subs. What's going to be great is if I see people like AKA Morningstar, Behemoth X, Pale Horse even, who likes to tickle me once in a while, Eric Ohies, all these people, all you guys that I see right now, if I still see you when I'm at 100,000, Necro Nikki, if I still see you guys at 100,000, holy shit, am I going to be happy. We're all going to be like real friends at that point. You're going to know me better than people that have known me my whole life in a lot of ways. So I really want to thank you guys for helping me get to 4,000. And Nina, I will definitely come on your show sometime. Absolutely. Just get it set up.
It'd be awesome to have her on here too.
Yeah, because I don't, you know, I know that part of the issue is timing because you're
I'd love to have a sit down with her.
Mm-hmm. I think she's in a weird time zone. We've offered before, but she didn't want to be on, I think because of something to do with having her face seen, but we'll figure it out.
Right.
You just let us know in the chat, in the mod chat, Nina. We'll do something with you at some point, for sure. And I know Fleshy would like to join in on that. So thank you guys again. And if you want to support my work, I have 3 books that are out. They actually just got discounted. They were $35 for Become the Maelstrom. It's now what is it? $24? $24. $24 is $10 off the original price. Shadownomicon is $5 off. It's $20 now. And the Infernal Hand of the Infernal Vampire Handbook.
Vampire Handbook.
Yeah, that one went down to $12.95 from $15.95. So there's a big discount going on. They're going to stay that way forever because I'm currently writing my 4th book, and I'm also going to be doing some updated editions of those at some point to kind of reset the counter, so to speak, to make them worth whatever difference. So maybe there'll be some hardcovers too. We'll see if I can get them off of whatchamacallit. Probably Lulu. It's probably who I'm going to go through. So
for all the people who want the spirit stories too, it sounds like this new book is going to have a lot of that.
It's going to have all the stories. In fact, I've touched on most of the stories in other places, but I've never gone into the depth or detail that I'm going in this book. And I'm adding a lot of things that have never been published before by me. So it's going to be a lot of the deepest stuff that I've done, and the little bit that I've shared, I've gotten some constructive criticism on, especially about pacing from Fleshy. And I'm going to try to get somebody to edit. I've got someone in mind. I've got 2 people in mind, but only one of them has responded after offering. So if that one person, we'll see. One of them, all I need is one. So whoever is the best person, I'll go with. And even if all they do is catch a lot of my errors, that'll be great. I'm not looking for a deep editing where I need people to tell me how to structure my plot and shit. I just want somebody to catch my mistakes. Just if you see my grammar sucks and my spelling sucks and you can do a professional job, that's who I need, and I won't need you for another month or 2, but I will need you at some point. And I think, Camilla, did you finish the Malphus chapters yet?
I was actually going to tell you to remind me to finish that because reading is not really my thing, but I do want to read it.
Yeah.
I'm about halfway through.
Did you read all of the Nyarlathotep sections?
I read what you sent me of that.
Okay. I know I set in Discord, I don't know if I sent the whole thing or just a free chapter's worth, but I definitely put some of that up for people to read if you can find it, if you want a preview of the book. So if you're interested in that, that is going to be my 4th book, and it's going to be more like somewhere between a cross between an anthology and an autobiography. So it's going to be taken from my journals of my work with these spirits. And I'm going to be recounting the events that happened. I'm going to be embellishing only where necessary to make it entertaining. So I'm not going to be making shit up, but I might add little well, I guess I would be making pieces up, but I'm not making the story up. I'm embellishing the story so it makes sense, because my journals, if I have a journal entry for it, it might be did ritual on this night, spirit showed up, and it just serves to remind me of what happened. I have blog posts, I have video logs of it. So I go through that and I remind myself of all the events, and then I turn them into more and more detailed, fleshed out stories so that when you read them, they're more like reading fiction, but they're... So for those of you who read Become the Maelstrom, if you like the introductory chapter, the introduction of Become the Maelstrom, where I talked about that scene in the bathroom and having that spirit show up, if you like that, the whole book is going to be basically like that. If that's what you like, the whole book is like that. It's not going to be a manual. It's not going to be a here's how you do these rituals, but it's going to have a lot of spiritual stuff in it that's true. It's going to have a lot of, there's chapters where I explain what spirits are, the Superman analogy that I talked about tonight. I really go into depth with that. There's going to be chapters where I talk about different principles of magic here and there, just because they help explain the happenings in the story. So it's not just going to be a story. It's going to be like, I don't know, a way to inform you too. So I'm really proud of it. I'm really enjoying writing it. I don't know if it's going to be my best book, but I think some people are going to like it more than others. So I'm going to shut up. I'm fucking rambling out. Like I'm doing a Camilla on Friday. I'm talking too much. Shut me up.
That's
Hell
usually
horse,
'cause
tell
I
me
have
to
a big
shut up.
cup of coffee too, so.
I did. I had 2 sodas and I don't drink caffeine anymore. So I had two caffeinated sodas. So
yeah, I don't know how the fuck you guys do such a light schedule where you are, because I had fucking 2 cans of highly caffeinated tea, and I am still just like, I'm ready to go to bed.
You know how I do it?
Fucking 3-hour time difference.
You want to know how I do it? I've been
How?
off all fucking winter.
Yeah, that would help.
I go back Monday.
Oh, fuck that.
Yep. Yep.
Day
Yep.
jobs
Yep.
suck.
They pay the bills.
Yeah,
Day
I'm
jobs
actually going to be
suck.
working there for 2 days a week just to help out and to make a few extra bucks because things have been so slumpish lately and everything that I'm like, fuck it, they need help. I could use a couple bucks extra. Fuck it, it's only 2 days a week. That doesn't hurt my schedule with what I do.
We could use help, all right, but not in that sense.
Eddie likes caffeinated DH Thorne. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm more down to earth when I'm caffeinated. I'm too crazy at that point. I'm just like a rambling lunatic.
Isn't that what we tune in for?
I guess. Yeah, you guys don't tune in because I have like wisdom or knowledge. You tune in just to see how many circles is Thorne going to run in with his rants this week. Like, I think that, like, yeah, I think that's what it is.
Oh, look at the Ouroboros catching his tail.
There he goes. There, up. Take a drink whenever non-duality comes up.
Yeah, you nearly had it.
Oh, man. You got to power bottom your way through Magic, guys. Power bottom!
People
All right, I'll show it one more
tuning in, like,
time
are
just
gonna be so
because.
confused.
Just one more time. If you guys are interested, Magic is in the butt, and here's the t-shirt that proves it. All right, guys. I think
Evidence.
I think we're gonna have to give it an ending. So next week, so there's a couple of people I'm looking to potentially get on soon. I don't know if I'll get them, but one of the guys, he does like a podcast on Facebook. I'll see if I can get him on. But if not, it'll just be Flesh and I. And I think next week we're going to try to improve no promises, but we're going to try to improve the call-in segment. So if you're interested in calling in, we're going to try to have it so it's actually a phone number. So this way you don't have to worry about having Skype or Discord. Hopefully it'll work. You'll still have to be able to call with a phone though. So hopefully it'll work. And we'll test it out. And yeah.
And I want some. If you got an entertaining story, if you just got stories in general related to all this, we want to hear them.
Yeah, don't worry if you're an expert or not. If you got a story about how you tried to evoke King Paimon and your candle fell over and your dog took a shit on the rug and whatever, but you thought it was really important to you at the time, I want to hear it because this stuff, a lot of people think that, oh, my experiences aren't that special because all that happened to me was a candle flickered when I talked to him. No, that's a valid manifestation. We got to demystify this a little bit. We've got to normalize it a little bit and show how it's real.
I mean, look at my story that I told you when I first started doing all this of a tree fell in the woods, but I was there to hear it. Like, that's so fucking dumb, but it was so important.
Absolutely.
And Victorious with the super chat says, here's a little something to keep that day job at bay.
Fuck the day. Well, this is my day job, so you're keeping my. Oh, I see. I get what he's saying. Thank you, Victorious. You're freaking awesome. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take off, guys. Of course, my phone's ringing, so I'm gonna have to answer that now. So I will check you. Yeah, I will check you guys in a few days, and probably sometime this weekend, or I don't know, a little bit before, a little bit after. My next video is gonna drop. If you didn't watch my 4,000 subscriber count video, go ahead and watch that now. It's only about 10 minutes long, and yeah.
Yeah, fucking tell your friends, warn your enemies.
Mind the shadows, motherfuckers. Oh, wait, hold on. I said I would do this. I said I would do this. I forgot.
Oh, yeah. And,
okay.
To get really old school with all of you. And also, fucking thank you for everybody here. We love you guys. And fucking hail all of you.
Have a good night, everybody.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Whoever gave me that meme, thank you.
Goodbye.